It's a rolling, not a stop. Shit don't never stop.
Yeah.
It's a rolling, not a stop. Shit don't never stop.
Yeah.
Hey, this a
Yeah. Did it like
It's a rolling, not a stop. Shit don't never stop.
yeah.
It's a rolling, not a stop. Watch, shit don't never stop. Stop. Stop.
No problem with it. Do it like
Stop. It's the flow that got the block high.
no.
It's the flow that got the block high.
No problem with it.
It's the flow that got the block high. Shit don't never stop.
Yeah.
It's a rolling, not a stop. Shit don't never stop. Damn, there's a good. It's a rolling, not a stop. Shit don't never stop.
Yeah.
It's a rolling, not a stop. Shit don't never stop.
Yeah.
Hey, this a
Yeah. Did it like
It's a rolling, not a stop. Shit don't never stop.
yeah.
It's a rolling, not a stop. Watch, shit don't never stop. Stop. Stop.
No problem with it. Do it like
Stop. It's the flow that got the block high.
no.
It's the flow that got the block.
Medic! Scalpel. I'd like to thank you guys for joining us on this Glorious Day.
And a friend.
You aren't duping the doctor. I mean, the doctors look into your eyes.
Jeez, and the fight is over! Michael Chandler! Michael Chandler! What did I tell you fools?
What's up, boys and girls? This is UFC lightweight Michael Chandler. I'm just telling you right now, if you don't go to YouTube and hop on the MMA Bet Surgeon channel, like and subscribe and ingest and digest some of the best UFC mixed martial arts and boxing predictions on the planet, on the internet, then you're doing it wrong. Appreciate you guys. See you at the top.
What is going on, everybody? Hope everyone is doing well. Dan's got it's the MMA Bet Surgeon here with the lieutenant, and he's got the Davison Figueiredo sushi photo, which is an all-time classic. Obviously, like we have to do, and always what I'm going to do is drop the link for my the other two people that we all know are normally a part of this now. Become a little bit of a weekly thing we're doing here. So I'm gonna just drop the link real quick, and then we're gonna kind of get into talking about, obviously this entire card, because we got 15 fights, people. We got the amount of fights to keep us entertained for the entire night. I mean, for more than just a little bit too. I mean, like, I think there's definitely some hidden gems in here. There's gonna be some good fights as per usual. Let me just throw this link in here, and yeah. Sorry about that. Just sent one. The one thing I do want to take a look at real quick is I want to take a look at, obviously, the background. Nothing special this week. Nothing too crazy. I mean, Honestly, some would say probably my worst. I actually didn't even upload it as an overlay here. Let me do it real quick.
I'd say that.
I mean, but I know I would agree. I would agree. It's not like I'm not sitting around saying
Not,
it's
not much to work with. You're
Don't-
kind of handcuffed. You might have to diversify. You know what I mean? Move away from the Halloween photos.
I am moving away from shit. Here, 1 second, Dougie. I'm adding you. I'm just let me add this photo. It's just doing it right now. It's loading it in. There we go. What's going on, Dougie?
Mr. Vegas.
You muted.
What's up, boys?
No, there you go.
Not much, man. How about you?
What?
You ready for another week? Just kind of falling into the cycle, falling into the matrix that is now doing these fucking things every single week, getting on the cycle, and getting ready for us to do another nice, crazy, probably longer than 7.5 hours like we did on Saturday. Definitely with 15 fights, that's for sure. We'll be definitely
7.5.
Yeah, I think we went 7.5. We definitely did an hour. We definitely did an hour of just banter after, of just all of us kind
I
of.
was kicked out for at least half of it.
You were kicked out for about 10 minutes, and then you were back
longer.
with a bot account. So, LJ, feel free to hit the link too as well, or ask me for the link at one point if you're coming. But we are going to we're going to talk about this. Yeah, we're going to talk about this for a second, then we're going to kind of just get right into it.
Yeah.
I was trying to look for the double no beard, and then I would have played with that, but I couldn't get Derek Lewis with no beard. His Instagram shit like fucked me up. So I was gonna get like a different kind of photo, but even just seeing Curtis Blaydes, he posted before. He's like, I'm never shaving my face ever again. He's like, never again in my life. He's like, I'm never gonna shave my face. I'm gonna always have this beard. He's like, because this is what I look like. And then he posted the photo. So I mean, I thought it was pretty funny. We're probably just gonna kick right into this, start breaking down these.
Oh. Well,
You lost him.
guess we'll give him a second to get back in here.
I did the old left swipe on the thing. You guys have seen that before.
Never.
I've done it a couple times where I swipe left on my Mac mouse and my Mac mouse just takes me back the page before. And perfect timing. We got LJ in here now too.
Yes.
Perfect timing. I'm trying to read what is that USA in this hole. I can't tell what it is because
USA in this hole this week because we're screaming for Derek Lewis and we're rooting for him.
Oh my
And
goodness.
he's a big underdog. And we're going to be placing some money on Derek Lewis this week.
Oh my god.
He's a big underdog by knockouts.
This is great.
But-
This is the way we kick a show off, people. This is the fucking way we kick a show off.
Oh my god.
Oh.
We got the resident Englishman with USA in the house.
Okay.
In the
we're gonna-
news, Vladimir Putin and shit. I got to knock this Russian motherfucker out. Absolutely legendary. Best heavyweight ever in that division. By Steve.
Oh.
There you
Okay.
go.
Okay.
I love that shit.
I'm gonna let's skate through some of these because I don't know what you guys are thinking for some of these early fights. And actually, the beautiful thing about these early fights, especially like a fight like this, is I already did it, broke it down time ago when I handwrote the notes, and the handwritten notes are fast as fuck. They're old school skate right through it style. Before I got all crazy and making the notes. Actually, these ones are typed notes. I think actually, to be honest, let me find them right here.
Which one are we starting off with here?
This is the one I've got to start
yeah.
with. Spivak Bandera. Is that
Okay.
is that what you guys have it to start with, or
Whatever. We'll start with them.
that's what I'm saying. I just uploaded them in what I thought was the. Now I
It
think
is
I'm
the
fucking-
first fights on the card. Yeah, you're right.
It is okay.
Already.
Now I'm just trying
Starting
to
off
find
with some
this
heavyweights.
fucking.
Pat, your mic's sounding a little.
I always just go to
distracted.
Google.
It sounded,
I always just go to
like shit.
Google,
Sounds
so-
like shit on my end too. I think it's actually this is the worst input. I'm gonna swap it around real quick. I'm just swapping it from different USB port to a different USB port.
Okay. Does anybody else want to, LJ, you want to, while he's fixing that, you have anything you want to say about this fight? Start off.
I'll wait till the surgeon
Yeah,
dissects.
I was going to say I'll let him fucking take it off first, but hopefully you can get that figured out. But there's a fair amount of heavyweight fights on this card, eh? I think there's at least four or five.
I think they're trying to showcase the division a little bit.
They're not like the greatest fights, though. That's the thing. Like,
I think you've got the up and comer fight though with Aspinall fighting Arlovsky.
Oh, big time.
That's one to try and get his name up a little bit, I think. And same with Dawkins versus Olenek.
Yeah, those are two guys taking a big
leaps.
leap up. I'd say fucking more so a leap up for Dawkins. It's a guy like Olenek, like that's just dangerous. Especially like Doc has kind of been using a lot of like pressure and his size his last couple fights. Like he's gonna could get trapped. You fixed now, Surgeon? I think you're muted there, Augie.
Yeah, he's muted.
Doesn't sound fucking great, that's for sure. Like if I'm listening to you guys, it sounds fucking weird. Like it's like what the fuck? Maybe I'm gonna unplug this, replug this back in.
It looks like there's a delay on your video too.
Give me a second here. Got all these fucking.
It's always good.
It's all fucked up in this bitch. Scuffed. We'll call this the scuffed episode. Here. These are fucking. I'm just worried because these are all knotted up and shit, and they're so old that these fucking headphones got a problem. Because that's what it sounds like. It's either the headphones or it's the mic or both. Or it's the computer. Which seems like the likely culprit.
You ready to go, or you want us to? You trying to figure something out? You want us to just?
I mean, it still sounds kind of like dog shit in my eyes, but that's fucking. It's like right when.
Might as well go ahead.
Okay. I'm gonna kick it off here. We're gonna kick it off. Like I said, older notes. We got. I still got the. Here, let me put this thing back up too. We got Sergey Spivak at a heavyweight bout taking on Jared Vanderaa. This was a fight that was set to happen a little while ago. Obviously, you know, COVID got in the way. I have a feeling like sometimes it's because maybe it's too close to my face. I don't know. You guys let me know. People in the chat, let me know if it starts crackling and some shit like that. I gotta fix this. But it's a heavyweight bout between Sergey Spivak and Jared Vanderaa. Sergey Spivak being 6'3" with a 78-inch reach. Jared Vanderaa being 6'4" with an 80-inch reach. Sergey Spivak 2-2 in the UFC, 11-2 in MMA. Jared Vanderaa 1-0 in the UFC with an 11-4 record. He's coming off of Sergey Spivak's coming off a decision win over Carlos Felipe. And in that fight, I mean, that was a pretty good fight. Like, Sergey Spivak's one of these guys. He's got 4 knockouts, 6 submissions. He's kind of got a little bit of where kind of the background he comes from, the discipline that he kind of comes from is, I believe, more so like a Russian, like, clinch, grappling kind of background, fighting in close like that. He's not amazing on the ground, but you know what? He's got a lot of skill, and especially in the Carlos Felipe fight. In that fight, he was kind of able to take a guy who's a heavy puncher, a guy who wants to come in and disrupt you and take you out of the game. He was able to show that he's got a good stiff jab, able to move around the octagon very well, use quick, short combos. His guard was actually, you know, able to block a lot of good shots that were coming in from Carlos Felipe. Like I said, he's one of those guys that wants to hit you, put the heat on you, and hurt you. See, the thing that Sergey Spivak and the thing that I like about him, and I kind of like was talking about him being well-rounded as a fighter, is the thing is, if he sees a lot of power, he may actually mix in the takedown, look for a sub, like in the Tuivasa fight, where he got the head and arm. I mean, like, he's even got and even shown a pretty good tank in this fight, and I believe he's the favorite in this fight. I mean, on the other hand, here we got a guy in Jared Vanderaa, like I said, 1-0 in the UFC, 11-4 record in MMA. He's the kind of guy who's coming off of 1-0 in the UFC. The 1-0, I don't even count these anymore when I do my things now. It's a Dana White Contender Series win over Henry Hunsucker, in which, I mean, I'm not the most impressed person ever with Henry Hunsucker, but I mean, it was still a good fight. He showed that he has a good chin. I mean, he was taking a lot of good shots in that fight from Hunsucker. Like I said, a Contender Series fight, so some of these guys are ready, but in certain fights, we're seeing guys that aren't ready. I mean, from what we've seen from Vanderaa, likes the clinch-based fight where he can attempt to take down and look to dirty box a lot in that fight, and that's kind of when he shows, you know, a lot of good things. I mean, like I said, I see Spivak being the more patient man in this fight, picking his shots, leading to Vanderaa trying to take the fight to the ground possibly at one point. I believe that, you know, the level of competition and the ability for Spivak to stay calm in different positions, pick his shots like he showed even in the Carlos Felipe fight. I think it's going to land to Sergey Spivak landing a decision victory in this fight. What are you guys thinking?
I'll let LJ go first. If you're ready.
Yeah, I've not got much on this one. I mean, Sergey Spivak, 11-2. It's good wins. I mean, Carlos Philippe, that unanimous decision to Tybor is not too bad as Tybor is kind of making a resurgence. Got chinned by Walt Harris early, but we all know Walt Harris is a big puncher, and that was his first fight in the UFC. So octagon jitters could have been there. That Taito Vesa fight, like you said, that was like it's like a coming out party for Sergey Spivak. He utilised his skills. He was a big underdog. He took him down, showed some of his heavy top pressure, and eventually got the choke in the second round.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else? Dougie,
Now, Jared Vandeira. I'm not really high on Jared Vandeira. I mean, he beat Harry Hunsucker, like you said. He's not UFC level. I mean, I don't know where they get these opponents for the contender series. It seems like they're getting worse and worse and worse every year, the competition, especially at heavyweight. And he's fighting Sergey Spivak, who's already octagon tested. I think this line's completely fair. Plus 175 for Jared Vandeira. I mean, he's got a puncher's chance. He's a big heavyweight. But I think Sergey Spivak's just going to take over with the wrestling. Just eventually grind him out. Maybe get a late stoppage. Probably just get a UD. But I've got Sergey Spivak.
I hear that. Dan, Dougie, what are you guys thinking about for this one?
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I've got Spivak. I have him maybe getting a late submission if I was going to put any money anywhere. Probably not going to put any money anywhere near this fight. I think it's not a great one. Spivak probably has the advantage in most facets, but I mean, Vandeira could just land a couple of big shots and change the fight. I don't trust either guy enough really with my money. So if Spivak by submission has good enough odds, maybe a little bit, but not much value here.
I hear that.
Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with you guys on this one. I'm probably going to go with Spivak too, and not kind of like what Dougie's saying, just run a late finish. If you can gas him out with some too much pressure and just kind of catch him with something that's always possible. But yeah, I'm kind of leaning towards like Spivak decision.
Mm-hmm. No, I hear that.
I'm not high on Jared Vandeira at all. I mean, I'm looking at it now. The fight he won to get into the contender series was against 64 and 31 Tony Lopez. He was 45 at the time. I mean, terrible competition on the side of Vandeira. I mean, if you're looking to bet Vandeira, he's not got the experience. I mean, at least we know win, lose or draw that Sergey Spivak's at least battle tested, and he's 11-2. I mean, 11-2, and he's a good prospect.
Absolutely. And here's some of the odds here for people, and this is my first time looking on it. Okay. We're under. Oh, you had perfectly zoomed there, Dan.
Well, it's because you can only see so little at a time, though.
Oh, true. I hear that. You can just fucking spam it down, though. We don't need to see it too much. Lagging a little?
It's kind of... Sorry, I'm just going to lag.
I bet you it's StreamYard.
No, sorry. No, it was my laptop. Don't worry about it.
Sergey Spivak to win via decision. Beautiful. Little 3-1. Kick it right off. That's the way.
Yeah, it's kind of like... Yeah, that's pretty much where I'm probably leaning.
I will say Vandeira is pretty durable from what I can see.
Oh, that's all available right now.
Takes a lot of damage though, from what I can see as well.
Oh yeah.
Spivak, more of a grappler. I mean, he can bang. Don't get me wrong, he's a heavyweight, he can bang, but he's predominantly a grappler. So yeah, I'm leaning towards the decision. Like you said, it's a great pot. The late stoppage. Because he's got a tendency, like in the Taito Vesa fight. I mean, he made a grueling pace for Taito Vesa until the second round, until he choked him out late. I think that's the way. Either decision or late finish.
Yep.
Great bet.
I like that. Yep. I'm pretty good with that. So far. I think we can probably almost Dan, if you want to scroll down maybe a little bit more, maybe just see some rounds, and then we'll just roll.
Yeah,
right over that.
they don't have those out right
Oh, they
now.
don't even have them. Okay, so then there we go. Rolling right through that.
I was going to. So, are we going to do the? So yeah, I think we're gonna start. So yeah, boy, start considering, or maybe they just like write down some of your bets for the bet battle for this week, so we can get a bit more on top of them.
Yeah, or just
I don't know
or just do them in the next 2 days. You know what I mean? Like now,
Yeah,
now
we can-
'cause
but
we
I
know
can pull
about
it up
you
at
can
the end of
just
the card.
Throw your bets into it.
Yeah,
You know
but
what
I'm
I
just
mean,
saying
if
we
your
can
thing's
we
on
can
it.
pull it up at the end of the card
It's
too.
a
if
really,
anybody
it's a
wants to
really
join
good
in.
card to bet as well. There's some really, I mean, there's some. You're going to be surprised at some of the people I'm picking. Maybe a couple of them.
Yeah,
I've already got
later
the
on in this card.
yeah.
There's
I got the
so
sheet
many
set ready,
fights. I
so.
can't believe how many fights there are.
I know 15.
So many fights.
Yeah,
So
when's the last time we had
many,
a card this long?
So
Well,
many,
okay.
so many prop bets,
knock
so
on
many.
wood. Everybody knock on
you know?
wood right now. Everybody knock on wood.
What do you mean? I was looking for what fights would have been pulled right before this, man. I'm like,
Exactly.
what fights don't I have to watch? I go, something's gonna get fucking pulled if there's 15 on this
I'm saying
motherfucker.
something. They haven't hit the scales yet, so we never know.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. And I believe the
true.
next fight of the night here is, I believe, another fight here that I've already predicted. I believe I might have even done a video for this one, as far as the whole fucking, COVID and shit took him out of it. I believe Zahabi got forced out with COVID before the fight, and it was supposed to be at I want to say on the Figueiredo and Moreno card. That's I believe where that fight was originally supposed to take place. I believe originally. You know what I mean? And I could be wrong, but it's a bantamweight bout. Draco Rodriguez coming in 5'8" with a 69.5-inch reach, taking on Ayman Zahabi, 5'8" with a 68-inch reach. Draco Rodriguez is his first UFC fight other than the Dana White Tuesday Night Contender Series. Like we said, I don't really count those necessarily as obviously they're counted as pro fights. You got to count them as pro fights, but as far as your record in the UFC, I do not account it to your record in the UFC. He is 7-1 in his total career in mixed martial arts. Like I said, his first fight though in the actual UFC realm. 2 knockouts, 4 subs for him. On the other hand, here we got Ayman Zahabi, 2-1 in the UFC, 7-2 MMA record, 4 knockouts, 2 subs for him. He's coming off a decision loss to Vince Morales. That was kind of a fight in which, there's a lot of movement between both guys. I think he seemed a little bit unsure of his hands, a little bit unsure of what punches, what shots he likes to throw because of the fact that, he's coming off of, before that fight, getting knocked out. And I'll talk about that in the final roundup of it. But I mean, he's kind of a guy I feel like who's definitely got the potential. Of course, he's got the gym behind him. His brother's Faraz Zahabi. But he's just one of these guys that I feel like is maybe a little bit not there for in certain levels. He needs to obviously, he's got the BJJ black belt. He's got some good things that he's able to work. He's got some good kicks. He's got some good punches, but he's not able to put it all together, especially against a guy that's coming at him that knows what he's doing on the hands and feet. Because I think that's a dangerous guy. And Draco Rodriguez, he's one of those fucking people. Like I said, he's a guy I think who was in, and I watched multiple of his fights. Not only, he's a guy who's a very good boxer, very good kickboxer. I think he was an ex-boxer. Man, in the fight, other than the Dana White in the Dana White Contender Series fight, he got a sub win over Leo Martinez. In that fight, we saw some good leg kicks. We saw his good jab. We saw good transitions all the way around the opponent when they were on the ground scrambling. I mean, just in that fight, I mean, it was kind of like he was just able to kind of mangle him, manhandle him a little bit, take him to the ground, and then sub him pretty quickly with the omoplata. I mean, he showed in that fight and in his boxing fights, he's got good head movement, light on his feet, likes to draw you in and then throw check hooks, throw punches from there. Kind of somewhat of a counter fighter, but I'm sure he's going to press a guy like Zahabi partially. I like him. I like his well-rounded game. I think that Zahabi, coming from a powerhouse MMA gym, coming from the tutelage of one of the Faraz Zahabi of his brother Faraz Zahabi, I see the inactivity though for Zahabi being his downfall. When watching some of his fights, I think he seems somewhat gun shy through the strikes. And he just kind of in some cases wants to use his jiu-jitsu and his wrestling to his advantage, and I think that he's what he's going to try and do in portions of this fight. But I just see Draco finishing Zahabi in this fight. I see Draco getting the finish on Zahabi. What do you guys have to say about that one?
Yeah, I don't know,
Absolutely.
it's hard to disagree with you on that. I think that as much as I'd like to bet on Zahabi, I'll probably have to. I don't know if I'm gonna. I think Zahabi may be tough enough to last the distance, but
I have it as a decision for
yeah, I'll probably go
Rodriguez.
decision. Yeah.
Got it. Yeah, I wouldn't be. Once I see the lines here too, you know what I
Oh,
mean.
do you want to give your take before we
once I
pull up
see
the
the
lines?
lines here.
Yeah, I've got to go with Draco Rodriguez in this one. It's one of my more confident bets of the card. I mean, I'm not hating on the Canadians, but Eamon Zahabi, he's only in the UFC because of his second name. That's my opinion. Let's look at his career. He fights 0-5 fighter, 4-6 fighter, 0-0, 7-8, 2-0, 3-1. Then he gets his first fight in the UFC. Fights 35-year-old Reginaldo Vieira. I don't know who that is. Oh, finally, okay. The weight's off his shoulders. He gets a win in the UFC. Okay. Then he comes in against and his pay-per-view debut, whatever, and then gets just starched by that spinning elbow by Ricardo Ramos.
Mm-hmm.
A really, really sort of devastating loss, you know. And then he comes back against Vince Morales. I mean, Vince Morales, I'm watching this fight. I'm like, how are you losing to Vince Morales? I'm like, he's kind of getting dominated by Vince Morales. Vince Morales, 9-5. Like, if he didn't go to a decision by against Song Yadong and win against Eamon Zahabi, in any other scenario, he's a reject on the regional scene. You know, he's not a UFC level fighter. We've seen that, and he's getting like kind of dominated by Vince Morales. Like, I've got to fade this guy. I think he's gonna get either knocked out or submitted. I can't. I like how Draco Rodriguez fights. He's got a sneaky ground game. Like I said, the competition for Draco Rodriguez is not there at 7-1, but he's had a few amateur fights, and I disagree with that doesn't play into your pro career, because he's had a lot of amateur fights, and you know, the competition might be the best, but especially when you're early into your career, those having those bodies and that experience and that ring time when you're that early into your game, that helps like leaps and bounds when you eventually go into the pro.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think we're all favoring Draco Rodriguez pretty heavily here in this fight to beat Zahabi. I mean, if Dan keeps going down, we'll be able to see by decision 2.5. So that's what you guys are liking. What's him by finish 3.3? I'll hop on the train right off the bat.
I could be talked into going with that one with the better odds there.
I'd be going with Draco Rodriguez submission, guys. That's the bet I'm going with.
Yeah, they don't have that out for Betway.
Do they not? He's got a sneaky ground game from what I can see.
I think him money line is a good parlay piece too. If you're looking for an early
you want to stick a
win.
bet on him with that price on him. That price is not playable. I don't see anyone putting any money on Zahabi as well. I don't see any money.
I think I'm going to probably throw Rodriguez in a parlay.
I would parlay Rodriguez. And I'd parlay an inside the distance prop as well, or something like that, because
fight not to go the distance at 2.37. It's not bad.
Not bad.
I don't know though. It'll be exciting to see. And they're fighting at the Apex, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, besides a knockout loss in the 5th round to Tony Gravely, he's finished all his opponents. I'm talking about Draco Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Besides Far Muhammad, right? This is the thing. 6-13. Far Muhammad, he goes the distance with him. That's the only guy he goes the distance with somehow. So yeah, the competition is concerning on both sides, but like this Draco Rodriguez, he's a dog from what I can see, and I watched him. I watched his fight. Yeah, it's against Mena Martinez, however you pronounce it, but he's vicious in that fight, and he shows off a sneaky ground game where I think he's to the point where I think he's live for the submission in this fight.
I'll be looking out for that line for sure.
Yeah,
shout
absolutely.
out everybody in the chat. Jason Marr, IBT.
Shout out everyone in the chat.
Yeah,
Number one
absolutely.
bot. Are we done? Are we moving on to the next one then, Pat?
Yes, sir. We're gonna roll right on here, man. This is another one that probably gonna be another short one that I get to roll right through pretty quickly. This is the which one is this? The Kelly fight?
Emmers versus Chaz Skelly.
Aha. Okay. Yeah, this is a featherweight bet at 145 pounds. We got Chaz Skelly, 5'11 with a 72.5-inch reach, coming in against Jamal Emmers, 5'10 with a 74-inch reach. Chaz Skelly, 7-3-1 in the UFC with an 18-3 MMA record. Jamal Emmers, 1-1 in the UFC with an 18-5 MMA record. Chaz Skelly, 3 knockouts, 10 subs. Jamal Emmers, 7 knockouts, 3 subs. Chaz Kelly's not coming off of a UD win over Jordan Griffin. I mean, in that fight, Chaz Skelly's kind of got this, even from watching his other fights, from watching his Bobby Moffett fight, which was ruled no contest. They're very similar fights. I mean, the Bobby Moffett fight, I'll tell you why that was a ruled no contest. The ref just ended up basically calling him in a controversial position. Thought he ended up getting tapped out. I mean, he didn't obviously end up tapping out. It was very quick too that the ref hopped in, thought he ended up getting choked out, but he did not. He did not tap. So that fight ended up getting ruled no contest. The Jordan Griffin fight though. That fight, I mean, like I said, Chaz Kelly's one of these guys that wants to be on the ground, wants to be in grappling exchanges, kind of has an awkward stand-up game to him. I mean, he's able to kind of put some shots on you, but I mean, his main goal is to get you on the ground and get you into that scrambling position, the wrestling scrambling position, even just have you on the mat, offense, in a position on him, even like if you have his back, anything like that. He comes up with some pretty creative ways, like in the Jordan Griffith fight, he did a full-blown somersault to get Jordan Griffith out of body triangle and beautifully, seamlessly reversed the position. I mean, it looked great. Some shots were landed early on Skelly, and then Skelly got that TD pretty quickly. I mean, like, gets the collar tie, gets the back, landing good punches right off the bat, almost getting the RNC pretty quickly in the fight. Looked visibly tired after the first round, though, after that big wrestling grappling exchange. Like I said, stand-up didn't look too great, and then Jordan Griffin kind of started to come on a little bit with the hands and feet. Like I said, visibly tired, uncomfortable on the hands and feet, and he got taken down, full mounted. Jordan Griffin was able to land some huge elbows. Jordan Griffin was rocking him on the hands and feet, so I don't know why he ended up taking him down again. Then he had his back taken, he had the body triangle put in. That's when I said he made the acrobatic flip, reverse, took Griffin's back. And then pretty much throughout the rest of that round, it was a grappling exchange with Skelly on the back. Jordan was not able to get him out of the body triangle, and he was looking for the choke. He was caught in a tight guillotine attempt in the third, and I mean, it's kind of just was a back and forth wrestling submission match, but obviously Skelly had the upper hand throughout. He was in the better positions throughout, looking for more submissions throughout. He's just one of these guys that's very, very slick and elusive on the ground, even in the Bobby Moffett fight. But Bobby Moffett did show that, he put him in a controversial position. He choked him out almost, basically. I mean, like, the ref called it, but I mean, obviously a no contest. But you see with a guy that's even just a little bit more mixed on the hands and feet, and he's kind of he's a little bit one-dimensional, you know what I mean? Like I said, like, he does have the stand-up game, but it's very awkward. It's a very awkward stand-up game that I think that someone that has half-decent wrestling, has some stand-up, he can definitely put a hurt on you for sure. And I think Jamal Emmers is, pretty much like one of those guys. 1-1 in the UFC with an 18-5 record, like I said, 7 knockouts, 3 subs. He's coming off a UD win over Vince Cachero, and when... he was landing some huge punches and kicks off the bat, using his length and range. Knees up the middle for him are huge, and in the tie clinch, he just likes to throw very, very crisp shots and mix it up well. The body, head, legs, will definitely start to wear you out all over throughout the fight. Some very good elbows were coming in by him, and at a high clip too. Like that whole first round, he's definitely very live because he's just coming at you with a high pace. He was able to wobble his opponent Cachero in the second, walking him down with some hard shots, even getting the takedown a couple times. He was definitely slowing down towards the end of the second, not as many shots coming out, but still doubling the strikes of Cachero each round. Throughout the rest of that fight, he pretty much ended up in the third, taking him down some more, and ended up getting that UD win. It was pretty much just a ground fight from the third when he ended up tiring out a little bit. He knew that he could take Cachero down, and there was not a lot of consequence with him being able to, take his back and rain shots down from there. As far as this fight goes, hard fight for me to call. The Giga Chikadze fight, that's a split decision loss for a guy like Jamal Emmers. We know Giga Chikadze, and I watched that fight, and that fight, kickboxing battle pretty much throughout the fight. I mean, Giga Chikadze just being a little bit faster, a little bit more crisp in some of those areas, but I think that Jamal Emmers is one of these guys that's got the high enough striking game and actually has some sneaky wrestling to be able to keep a guy like Skelly off of him or hit Skelly with the shot to pretty much knock him out. I think that it's going to be either one or the other. Chaz Skelly's going to be taking his back, pretty much similar to these Jordan Griffith fights, even more so, more dominant, taking his back and putting him in a body triangle and not letting him out. But I think that Jamal Emmers has that ability to have the wrestling, have the power, and just, have, a little bit of reach advantage and be able to put shots on him, some good knees up the middle. I think maybe, he ends up catching Skelly, rocking him, and then I just hope he doesn't fall into the trap of kind of going under the ground with Chaz Skelly and kind of putting himself in a position, but we will see. My pick is definitely Jamal Emmers. I'm not sure whether I want to take him by takedown, by KO or submission, or even just decision. I'm thinking I'm going to go decision for this fight. I think I'm going to take Jamal Emmers by decision. What are you guys thinking?
Take it away, LJ.
I don't have anything for this fight. I'm going to be honest. And there's a few of these fights where I'm scratching my head. I'm going, who?
Yeah.
Versus who? Where? On the card? Why? I mean, Yanis Kunitskaya versus who? On the co-main? Again? Oh, man, it's like, So I'm scratching my head at this one. I don't really know. I think it goes the distance, but I'll give it to you guys.
Yeah, what are you thinking, boys?
I'm all over Jamal Emmers by decision in this one. I think that's a good bet right there. I think he's better on the feet 100%, and I think the only way that he loses is by submission. I think he's the better wrestler, so I think he's able to neutralize that threat and hold him off for 3 rounds, get an easy win there.
Yeah, I like that. I like decision. I like it. Dan, what are you thinking?
I think it'll be a super close fight, probably. I don't even know if it's probably even worth touching.
Could be, yeah,
I don't think it's worth touching. Let's pull up the line. I don't think it's probably a good fight to pass on. Might be a dog or pass fight, pretty much.
Holy shit, they do have Skelly live as a dog, though. I mean,
I think Skelly has an odds. I mean, has a pretty good chance. Not a pretty good chance at those odds, but like for those odds, like I feel like they might move a little bit closer to it.
They will, 100%. At 3-1, I'd probably put money on.
I just don't think Emmers should be that big of a favorite.
Not that much. No, I'd put money on Skelly because it's like I said, like Skelly's got the like.
And no contest, obviously.
Well, it's people saying, the no contest, but whatever. That's Kushaba. That like I said, he was in a controversial position in that fight. I mean, it was so close. I watched it back and I was like, I can totally see where this commission was like, this is the ref fucked this one up. We're gonna overturn this.
Emmers by decision isn't looking bad though. I still like that.
Yeah,
I'll take that at that number.
Yeah. I think fucking
it's kind of a trap fight.
Is gonna
kind
catch
of a trap fight that would just kill all your parlays. That's what it looks
like.
Sweet,
sweet knees up the middle. Could
trap
be.
fight.
Trap fight. Okay, Trapola trap. Whatever you say.
I don't know if you guys are seeing that over on the right side though, but that's Spivak.
You can show us that. Yeah. That's the one that we were talking about. But it's just straight up though, right?
Yep. That's at 2-1. I think that's already a nice little parlay. You might even just roll something on that.
I don't think I've ever done that in my life.
Would that technically be the early prelim?
Yeah.
Well, are those guaranteed?
I don't even know if they're gonna get early prelims because is it only main like fight cards that get early prelims and then all the fight nights just have prelims and the fight?
I thought they all had early prelims.
Okay, then they all have early prelims.
They all have I think Doug's right.
You're probably right, Doug.
I mean, this card should just be called UFC Prelim. I'm looking at it. It's like prelim after
exactly
prelim after prelim after prelim after prelim. I mean, the prelims have got prelims, and the prelims have got prelims. There's so many prelim fights.
Well, I love it. Just gives more juice for us this weekend.
I'm down to settle in for a long prelim.
more juice for us to squeeze this weekend because last weekend was not so great. You was for you guys. Like I know you guys hit some stuff. I know Dougie, you hit some stuff. I know LJ, you hit some stuff at the early stages of the card.
No, I think it was pretty much
It's a
consensus.
nice
The best.
nice little plus 800, and I had a
Oh yeah,
big,
that
big
one
bet.
armbar.
I forgot
I had
about
a,
that.
yeah, and I
First
had
round armbar.
oh mate,
He's like,
hammered.
that happened. He's like, well, I'm done. I'm set for the night.
Done. He goes, I'm done, boys.
Put units on it, and then I put 4 units on Usman.
True.
Just a straight up, yeah, that's the smart way to go.
Well, me and Dougie had the Betway boost hit. That's what brought me back.
200 on Usman.
Yeah, that's what brought me back.
How much did you, how many units do you have on the boost?
Me? I don't play in units. I had $15 on it, so I got about 80 back. I got about basically what I lost on the night.
That's not bad.
I literally got made
Yeah,
what
I
I
had
got
just
on
under
the night,
20 on it.
pretty much. Yeah, just under 20.
Well, obviously, classic.
Oh, and I had
You
a
probably
half
would've
unit.
capped me
I had a
in
half
10
unit on Anthony. What's he called? Anthony Hernandez. Half unit on him.
Oh,
Yeah.
you did, yeah. Fuck.
All right, well,
Yeah,
should
we'll
we move on to the
roll
next
on
one?
here. We're rolling on here good though. We're rolling on here. I feel like we'll roll through this one pretty quick too, because I know you guys probably go flyweight bout 125 pounds. Shane and you know what? I'll be honest.
What are you talking about, man?
It won't even be me. Yeah, it won't be you guys for this fight. It'll be me, because I'll be honest. Didn't have enough time
This
to
is
watch
what I
a
meant when
Casey
I'm
King
scratching
fight.
my This is what I meant when I'm scratching my head. I'm going, hey.
I'm gonna watch her though. I'm gonna watch her. I'm gonna watch this girl before the weekend comes for sure. I want to watch her UFA fight because I didn't
Tune in
watch
for
it.
the live prediction on this one.
You want to? Should we just slide right over and do this one live?
Well, if
We
that's
could-
what you say, if you want to just do some more research before you do your official
sure.
pick
We'll
on
just
it.
do this one live. Unless you guys have any picks right now. You guys got? I can break
I mean,
down.
I
Plus-
looked at it
plus
a little
140.
bit. I kind of like Dobson. I think the records are deceiving here because of the
I
5-0 is really nobody in there.
Yeah.
And
nobody,
then this seems like a step down for Dobson, and she got a big upset in her last fight. So I'll ride the dog again.
Yeah,
there.
like I'll remind people here. Shanna Dobson 5'6" with a 69-inch reach. Casey O'Neill 5'6" with a not available reach. I'll get it in the fight when I watch her fight. It wasn't even available on Topology. First fight in the UFC, she's 5-0, 1 knockout, 1 sub in her pro career. She just, like I said, came off a knockout win over a girl in UAA Warriors, Christina Stelio. I mean, Shanna Dobson, on the other hand, 2-3 in the UFC with a 4-4 MMA record, 2 knockouts, no subs. She's coming off that knockout win over Maria Agapova. I mean, I don't know if you guys remember watching that fight, but I might have been one of those fucking idiots. And I don't know if Dan was on the train with me. I don't want to rope him in here. But me and you were just, I don't know if we were on Dobson in that fight, but I remember us being juiced for that fight, either because we were on the losing end of Agapova and she was on a boost or something or some shit like that. But she got upset in that fight. That was a great looking fight for Shayna Dobson. I mean, Agapova came out there like it was a street fight, just basically trying to throw every strike in the book at Dobson. Wasn't able to get Dobson out of there. Dobson did the smart thing by able to getting a takedown early on in the fight. Then basically they got up. They were in the clinch. She got taken down by Agapova within the clinch. Then they got back up. Dobson was looking for another takedown and basically got her hooks in perfectly. She was looking to get the armbar. Then she got swept to start the second and was just basically raining. Like it was a beautiful sweep. She got taken down and had this perfect sweep basically right as Agapova started throwing the shots to start the second round. Perfect sweep, took her back right away in like a split second in the blink of an eye and was just raining down shots. Just absolutely boom, boom, boom from the back of the head. Agapova tried to turn over. Boom, 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 boom. Gave the ref no chance, but for the biggest underdog of the night to come away with that win. That was a great fight. But I mean, yeah, I'm gonna definitely watch some Casey O'Neill fights and come up with that. If you want to throw up the betting odds, I just want to.
You
take
want
a
the
look.
odds?
Yeah. Throw up the odds for this one. I probably won't throw them up before the fight. I mean, maybe, but it gets kind of hectic.
I mean, plus 145 for Shayna Dobson. She was a plus 1,000 in her last fight.
That's what I mean.
The bookies had just said to each other, "We're not making this mistake again."
I know
And
we haven't seen
whereas
shit.
plus-
We haven't seen a fight
plus
like that
100.
since. We haven't seen a fight that bad since. That's like I watched that fight and I went, I remember that fight. I remember the
Pat, pull
line
it up.
being
Well,
wild.
I bet Shayna Dobson in that fight. Because I was looking at it, I was like, I was looking at Agapova. I was like, okay, well, who she beat? And I was asking everyone like who I used to speak to, like who I speak to in the MMA community on YouTube. I was like, okay, so who she beat? Oh, well, she beat Hannah Cyphers coming up a weight class, and she already got finished by whoever.
Yeah.
And then, she got finished by Mackenzie Dern. Then she came back like 2 weeks later and got finished up a weight class. Oh, so that's her best win. Yeah. Oh, so why is she a minus 1,000 favourite against Shayna Dobson, who's like, she's lost, but she's had the better competition. At least she's fought better competition. I bet Shayna Dobson bought like 0.5 units or 0.2 units on it, like a couple of quid. That was it.
Oh, there you go, though. Might as well. Anything else you need to look at specifically on this pad? Or?
No, I just wanted to glide over that, look at kind of where I'd throw some money. I want to look at some Casey O'Neill stuff, but I will definitely be.
We'll be looking forward to that.
I do like the Shayna Dobson to win by finish. Like, I don't know why that's so. It's probably because Casey.
I just don't know why it's not as wide as the last fight. Like
Aussie, probably.
But I've looked at. But no. But I think I looked at. Sorry, I think I looked at her, and I'll look it back up real quick, just because I don't want to fucking. I just want to make sure. I looked at her amateur career, and she's been knocked out like 3 times.
Twice.
I got it. Let me
Twice.
let me
Her first 2
confirm
fights.
that though. Let me confirm that. Am I
I
wrong?
just confirmed it to you twice. First 2 fights.
Okay, then there you go. Then there you go. That's it.
Knees and I don't know, just KO, TKO, first round.
Okay.
They both are amateur though. It's
Yeah.
6 years ago.
Yeah. Okay, I'm just wondering. Just wondering. Okay, yeah, that's pretty much all I want to run through for that fight. We'll keep coasting on here.
No, sorry, she's Scottish. What am I talking about?
What did you say?
She fought out of New Zealand. Weird.
Yeah, she was from Tiger Muay Thai there. So
Interesting.
This is gonna be another quick one. We're just gonna keep flying through these motherfuckers.
Interesting.
By the way,
This could be nasty.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, keep going. We'll talk about it. Like I said, this will be one.
I'm done.
We'll definitely. I'll make a mental note of it. We'll check on it before we do. Like when we're doing the early start and stuff. We'll kind of look at the odds and stuff for that fight in particular. Kind of like maybe even give it a little input. I don't know if you guys are gonna watch any fucking Casey King or whatever footage. I'm sure no one will, but I might actually watch a fight or two because I think that there's definitely something.
I think that line. I think there's a little bit of value in that line if she's good enough.
Yeah, for sure. So it's definitely something to look into. It's next fight up though. We got a featherweight bout at 145 pounds. We got Rafael Alves, 5'8" with a 68-inch reach, taking on Patrick Sabatani, 5'9" with an unknown inch reach. And I couldn't. And see, this is the funny thing. First fight in the UFC for Sabatani, 13-3 in MMA, 2 knockouts, 9 subs. His last fight being a CFF champ fight, Cage Fighting Federation fight, Cage Fighting Federation championship fight. I mean, they didn't even have the reach on the fucking Cage Fighting championship thing. Like, I'm looking at it and I go, well, Tapology doesn't have it. I go, I'll get it from watching his fight. I go, they'll definitely have like a tail of the tape. Nope. I go, fuck. I go, God damn it, man. I go, that kind of sucks. But on the other hand, we got Alves here. It's also his first fight in the UFC, but he did have a Dana White Tuesday Night Contender Series bout. He's 19-9 in his MMA career. 7 knockouts, 7 subs. He's coming off of and I'll break down his fight first. He's coming off of a submission win on, like I said, Dana White Tuesday Night Contender Series over on Alejandro Flores, in which, what a guy like Alves is we can clearly see it. I don't know how much weight he cuts, but he is a short, stocky, like a walking brick. Like he's one of these guys that can throw a lot of different shots from a lot of different angles, throws a lot of stuff at high power, especially in the Flores fight. We saw him walking down Flores from the opening bell, and basically he was throwing a lot of crazy shots, some spin kicks from different angles, looking for elbows, looking for punches. I mean, him being in the Flores fight at something like a 5-inch reach disadvantage, he was just putting the pressure on. Fast body kicks and leg kicks. He can even go boom boom. He'll go leg body right after, like a 1-2 with the kicks. His jab even looks pretty good. I mean, in the opening start of the second round, in that first round is a pretty close round. Like, I mean, Flores is no slouch himself, so I mean it was a pretty good little scrap on Contender Series. But in that second round, he was even getting pressured by Flores. Alves was, and I mean, he ended up, like I said, landing those good kicks, keeping that good pressure throughout. And then Flores went for that takedown, and I'm not even lying. Alves jumped on the neck so fast, and he got that full squeeze in so quickly. It was an instant tap. So, I mean, a guy like Alves, he's dangerous from a lot of different positions, like we can see at 7 knockouts, 7 subs. I think they said something like he's been waiting 11 years to get to the UFC. Man, this is a guy that's, he's been around the block. He's definitely prepared for it. Sabatini, on the other hand, he's one of these guys that we haven't even seen on the Contender Series, haven't seen on many other, in many divisions. But if you read into his resume and his history, multiple-time champion of Cage Fighting Federation, or Cage Fighting Federation Championship, whatever it's called, CFFC is. I put the acronym. I'm just going to say it from like that from now. The last fight he just had was against Jesse Stern. It was to get back the featherweight bout in the CFFC, which he had already had once before. I mean, the way that he lost it, I believe he ended up suffering an arm injury. He was out for like a year. He was basically planning on entering the UFC earlier last year. Apparently, had worked something out already with the UFC, but ended up hurting that arm. They obviously said to him, "Hey man, heal the arm up, and then we'll call you back when the arm's okay." So what ended up happening there is obviously he's now back to full health. He's coming off the submission win over Jesse Stern. He was able to get the body lock pretty quickly. Basically, just look for his look to put on more of a ground imposing fight in that fight. Put the hooks in, got the head and arm pretty quickly in that first round. He's just very calm in a lot of these different positions, trying to get tussled with on the ground, which is going to make this a very interesting fight. Alves being one of these high-level Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu grapplers. I mean, it's going to be interesting where it stands with the more wrestling level of Patrick Sabatini. I mean, he's like consistently isolating the arm, looking for different Kimura grips, consistently on the ground, posturing up. He even let some punches go towards the end of the ground. He got that takedown to start the second round, and then he was able to get the armbar pretty much instantly and tap him. It was a pretty good-looking fight for Sabatini. In the fight before that, he came off of a vicious knockout to work his way up to getting that champ fight for the featherweight belt. I mean, he's kind of one of these guys that's a little bit dangerous himself. Like, you can just see it, 13-3 record, 2 knockouts, 9 subs. This is going to be a pretty firework fight for me. I mean, I would like to see this. It's a hard fight for me to call. Both guys, not having a ton of guys and at a fighting level where we're able to grade them too easily. You know what I mean? You see kind of a different, a step off in competition as far as you get down to when some of these other fighting federations. But still, I mean, it's going to be a hard fight to call. I'd love to see the odds on it before I pick it for sure, and I want to know fucking Sabatini's reach if any one of you guys know it. I'll maybe wait to make my pick on this one once I see him. Dan's already brought him up. Beautiful.
Yeah, I can't find Sabatini's reach whatsoever. I mean, I'm looking at his his last fight, Cage Fury FC Bacon Featherweight Championship.
That's what I watched. Yeah, that's what I watched.
You look at the round duration. It says 5-5-5-5. So does that mean they did 4 5-minute rounds?
So
listen,
Cage Fury. You know what that means? They do 4 5-minute rounds with an optional bonus 5th round. That's what I heard them announce. Yeah, they announced it. I listened to them announce it.
That's real?
The fight. Real.
That's so weird.
God.
Yeah, crazy, especially for a belt too.
Rafael Alves. Let me tell you, the definition of a weight bully. This guy's absolutely ginormous. He's 5'8". So what? Call it what you will. He's 5'8" at featherweight. But he's like Gleason Tebow at featherweight. He's absolutely massive. I don't know how he makes 145. He must be about 190 outside of camp. Mm-hmm. He cuts tremendous amount of weight, but he's tough. He's got a sneaky ground game. He's athletic. He's a huge finisher. And you look at the record, not bad. I mean, for a jungle fight. Guy with his 9 losses.
His resume's better. Look
not
at the guy
bad.
he's fought.
Not bad.
Yeah,
I'm telling you now. Look.
Yeah.
Like Flores, good win. Maybe Rudy Morales 4-5 when he's 14-9. Okay, you shouldn't be fighting a 4. He's had a few bumps. He's had a few layups.
Oh yeah, for sure. Go through it. There's one guy that's got like fucking
2-1 when he's 10-6. You know what I mean?
There was a guy.
We'll move on. We'll move on.
Yeah.
The record, good. Decent record.
Yeah, I just want to throw it. I've got Sabatini by I have him by a late submission. I think Alves tends to gas, and he's been finished in all of his losses. So I see Sabatini getting a late sub.
Beautiful.
And that was what was about to get on. Great point, Doug. Rafael Alves, absolute weight bull. He cuts far too much weight. Who do we see last week? Rodolfo Vieira cuts all the weight in the world. Doesn't last 2.5 rounds. Not even 1.5 rounds. So have we seen? Okay, so we've seen Alves go the distance twice in like the last 4 years. You know, we don't know what his gas tank's like, especially against a guy like Sabatini, who I've seen, and he looks good. Yeah. Maybe the resume's not there, but he's a puncher. He's got good ground game. I think he can get it done. I think he can drag it out. The big red flag for me is Alves just cuts far too much weight. I think he should be upper weight class, or he should be, not cutting as much weight before he gets into the camp. I mean, he's huge. He's too big. He's too big for it's to the point of diminishing returns. Like, are you actually cutting too much weight, and then you're blowing up too much? Maybe when you get into the cage and you're gassing out later in the fight. That's a big red flag for me.
This is a cool kind of bout.
I think it could possibly be fight of the night because they look like Alves. I don't think he's going to bring it for 2 rounds, but I don't see him looking the same in the 3rd round, especially if Sabatini puts a pace on him. But yeah, I think it's going to be a great fight. I've got Alves. I'm leaning towards Alves, but I'm not really confident with it. But I'll let you guys.
I was going to say, the way you're talking about round 3, is this going to be another LJ round 3 special?
The more I look at this fight, though, really, with Gonzalez being his only loss in the last 5 fights, and it was that freak arm injury.
It was that weird arm injury.
Yeah, it was the freak arm injury that prevented him from getting to the UFC. Yeah.
I mean, split decision to Jose Marisol, whoever the hell that is. Robert Watley, unanimous decision. Besides that freak arm injury, never been finished. Tough as teak. Finishes everyone else. Barely goes the distance. I don't think he's gone the distance once. He's gone the distance in a win. Besides his losses.
He went in the black
twice.
Fight,
twice he's gone to the.
Same. I hear what you're saying.
I'm kind of like
twice he's gone the distance. So he's a finisher. But then look at these finishes. Look at these finishes. I think they might meet each other in the middle because look, round 1, round 2, he's never going into the 3rd round.
Yeah.
Unless it's like you said, Damon Blackshear, who's going the distance with. I think they might meet each other in the middle. It's a potential fight that night. Yeah.
And you know what's so cool about it? And I was just looking at this. I mean, I know Topology does this with the rankings and stuff, and I'm sure you guys saw this too. But like #1 in Pennsylvania, #1 in New Jersey, #1 in U.S. Northeast, right? Like ranking wise, I know those rankings. You could say don't mean shit, but then you go ahead and you look at
#1 in Pennsylvania and New Jersey, Northeast, and 7th. He's ranked 7th of active United Pro featherweights.
Yeah, and then you look at Alves, #1 in the United States, #1 U.S. Southeast, #1 in Florida. Lightweights, obviously, for the lightweight division, which makes fucking... Yeah.
Makes more sense than him fighting at featherweight, let's face it.
Exactly, you know what I mean? Like, he's a weight bully, but like, wow, let him do his shit, man. Like, that's the shit that he likes to get going. Let him do his shit. This next fight's
with a fighter like that, will always fade the cardio with a fighter like that. But
yeah, of course, of course.
I can only see.
This next fight, man. This is another good fight here because we were expecting a little bit earlier in the year. Obviously, we were expecting to see Nate Landwehr take on Movsar Evloev at UFC Fight Night. It was.
And I was gonna bet Nate the Train. I was on Nate the Train.
I know. I was on Evloev. It was the fucking Geoff Neal versus Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. But that's a featherweight. This bout is between Nate Landwehr and Juliana Rosa. Exciting bout, a featherweight bout at 145 pounds. Juliana Rosa 6'1" with a 74.5-inch reach. Nate Landwehr 5'9" with a 70.5-inch reach. 1-1 in the UFC. With a... Oh, fuck, I didn't even write down Nate Landwehr's record. Disrespect to Nate Landwehr. Someone... Sorry, I got it right now. Sorry about that, people. Fucking didn't write down the train. 14-3 record in his total MMA career. Julian Erosa, on the other hand, 2-4 in the UFC with a 24-8 MMA record. 10 knockouts, 11 subs for Julian Erosa. Nate Landwehr, 8 knockouts, no subs. Nate Landwehr was coming off that fight versus Darren Elkins, which I did it in a previous breakdown, people, and I kind of sat around and talked about how good that fight was and how much I enjoyed that fight. You know, obviously Nate Landwehr being one of these guys, it's like a showman. He's coming on to bring a show for the people. He, I believe, took the Herbert Burns fight, which he got knocked out on short notice. But the Darren Elkins fight, I mean, he's one of these guys that can just come in there and, you know, have a scrap with a guy. And I mean, the thing about it is, even from a guy like Nate Landwehr, I don't know if we even get a proper judgment of his skill, because it's almost like he's in there to show off, right? Like he's yelling at Dana, putting his hands up in the air in the Darren Elkins fight. Both guys bleeding, blood dripping down blood dripping down Darren Elkins' face. He's just walking him down, eating shots to come in, trading shots to come in. I mean, it's just was one of those crazy paced fights, but a great win for Nate Landwehr. I mean, he's one of these guys. That's why they call him the Train. I mean, he's coming in there. He's just head hot. You can't stop him. He's just coming right at your ass. But I mean, in Herbert Burns, we saw him get knocked out. I mean, that was a fight in which he took on short notice. High level guy, or decently skilled level guy in the UFC, to be taken in on short notice against Herbert Burns. I mean, as far as Julian Erosa goes, I'm actually a big fan of Julian Erosa because I remember him from his, I believe it was like season 23 or season 24 in The Ultimate Fighter. Man, this is a guy who's been around for a minute here. Like, I remember watching him. It's a crazy career for a guy like this, because it's like, oh, what was your last fight, Julian? Oh, my last fight was in the UFC. Okay, right? But that was when they re-signed me for the second time. You know what I mean? Like, he originally, and it's crazy, he originally goes through The Ultimate Fighter, wins The Ultimate Fighter, then ends up losing 3 more to pretty high-level guys. I mean, I'm sure LJ will go through and read off some of those names. But, I mean, it's like one of these things where it's like Julian Erosa's kind of got a little bit of everything. And in the Sean Woodson fight, he kind of just showed us he's been working on his shit as far as how it goes and far as what he's been looking for and what he's been looking from in other kinds of fighting federations. I mean, a guy like Julian Erosa, man, like even against Sean Woodson, he's getting walked down, losing that fight against Sean Woodson. But he's still throwing out some good leg kicks. He's still got that pretty good chin where he's able to walk through some punches. He's looking for the takedown with, you know, kind of not having as much success. But when he's able to kind of finally get that takedown like we saw in the Woodson fight, I mean, he's able to kind of do something with it. But I mean, as far as even just guys that have that little bit of power is what worries me about Erosa. Like, I've been watching Erosa fight for a while, and I actually thought that his return, his short notice call to say, hey, Julian Erosa, you want to come fight this ex-boxer? You want to come fight this guy on a card here in the UFC? We need you, man. You could do us real solid here. And I was like, I even remember looking at my dad and going, no fucking way. I watched this guy. I remember watching this guy forever, watching his make his exit from the UFC. I said, there's no way he wins this fight. And of course, he's able to kind of even, get up from losing pretty much 2 rounds to nil. He got dropped in that second round pretty hard. I mean, in the same round, and he pretty much got up, got a takedown with 2 minutes and 30 seconds left, and then got a Darce choke, locked in a Darce choke super quickly and got the win. A guy like Julian Erosa, dangerous from a lot of different positions. And I think he's one of those guys that maybe didn't have the full elements of what he needed to do going through the Ultimate Fighter, even though he did win it, right? He got some decent level competition. I think that it's going to definitely be a tough fight. This could easily be a fight of the night, too. I think this card's great because there's so many fights that we're looking at saying, what's going to happen? What's this? What's that? This fight could be fight of the night. That fight could be fight of the night. Another hard fight for me to pick here. I think that in this fight, man, I think I'd probably have to go for Erosa. I think he's going to get lit up with some shots, but I think that Landwehr is going to end up fading. I don't think he's going to have the ability to keep a guy, unless he knocks Erosa straight clean out. I don't think he's going to have the ability to keep a guy like Erosa off of him. He's just shown this sticky kind of pressure. I mean, this is probably going to be one of those guys that might not hit, and I might end up reversing it later on, and especially when we see the scales, I got to see that for sure. But, like, if you're telling me this fight wasn't a short notice fight, correct? This fight was never a short notice fight. I don't think so. Am I wrong? Anyone here know if this was short notice? I don't think so. I think that Julian Erosa looks even better with a full camp. Obviously, Nate Landwehr, both guys having a full camp, looking at each other and shit like that. It adds to the full blown, what's gonna happen, right? But I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's interesting. It's interesting. I don't know. I'm probably gonna have to take a Rosa for now. What do you guys think? What are you guys thinking?
Doug, you got any takes?
I'm on Nate Landwehr here. I think he's going to KO Erosa. I think Erosa's been KO'd before. And during the fight, I think Erosa's best chance is to get him on the floor and keep him there. And I believe in Landwehr's wrestling enough to the point where even if Erosa gets a couple of takedowns, I don't think he can keep him there. And I think Landwehr can get up and get the finish.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
sure.
I absolutely agree. And I'm very surprised, actually, that he's the underdog.
He is? Oh, that's
he's the
easy.
underdog.
That's
he's the
easy.
underdog.
That's easy. I'll fucking take
that's
Nate
easy money.
Landwehr as an
I'll probably
underdog
be
against
taking him
Julian
straight
Erosa
up,
for
and I'll
sure.
probably be taking him KO, TKO, and I like
The only thing I worry about
I like
is
the first round too.
Yeah, the
We've
only
seen
thing I worry
Erosa
about
get
is Landwehr
starched.
gassing. The only thing I worry about is literally Landwehr going for the starching, going for the full blown thing, even though we've seen.
Oh, he gets nuts. He gets
right, and then he goes for it. He's
hog
not able to
wild.
get Erosa out of there, and then Erosa is able to just kind of start leaning on him, putting shots on him, getting on him,
Could happen.
scooping him, some scoop takedowns, and
Landwehr's
then
got a
it's,
chin though. He's gonna be able to take it.
that's what I
think
know.
he's
It's gonna be a
got
great fight.
pace,
It's gonna
too.
be a great fight, man.
This could
It's a
also
great
be a fight of the night.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I mean. It's a great card.
I mean, he's a minus 110 or whatever. Landwehr, get on him now. I'm picking Nate Landwehr by
Yeah,
KO.
he'll probably be a favorite by the time
round
they walk
2
in the cage.
or even like you said, he can even catch him cold in round 1. I mean, he's in his prime right now. Nate Landwehr so's Julian Rosa, but he's taking too much damage from
Landwehr's stoppage right there is not bad.
Sean Woodson. I mean, this is a guy. Yeah, he's a pro boxer, but he's 1-0. I mean, you can't find his record anywhere. All you can find is 1-0 Sean Woodson against some bum. Okay, I mean he's a featherweight 7-0 at the time. He's got no pop. And he's walking Julian Erosa down, knocked him down. I mean, it was a come from behind win for Julian Erosa. Let's face it.
Oh yeah.
Before that, he beats AJ Bryant. Fair enough. He gets knocked out by Julio Arce. Grant Dawson. Fair enough. Devontae Smith, I put a line through that because it's going up a weight class. Devontae Smith is a huge puncher. He's going to lose that fight. He was a plus 190 underdog. But yeah, like Doug said, he's been chinned to way too many times. I mean, you're getting knocked out in the first round against Artem Lobov. I mean, all these knockouts add up eventually. And, especially when you're 31 and you've been stopped that many times, it adds up. So I've got Nate Landwehr. I think he puts this pressure on where I disagree that he's going to gas out. I think he's live late in the fight. I think if he's just walking down to a decision. His takedown defense. I mean, he's been working his takedown defense in M1 fighting Russian bums for like his entire career.
Mm-hmm.
So he's good on the takedown defense.
I hear that. Yeah, and even just
I just think he beats him everywhere. I just think he beats him everywhere.
You guys are probably right. This is one of those ones I didn't even.
I mean, besides a flash KO to Herbert Burns, which let's face it, it was a knee. That Landwehr was winning the fight. He comes forward like face first and runs into a knee and gets knocked out cold. Fair enough, he got knocked out cold.
Yeah.
But besides that, I mean, a decision loss and a rear naked choke loss, and he's been stellar in his entire career. Besides a flash knockout in the first, the minutes before that fight, he was winning the fight. He's winning the fight before the KO, in my opinion. So
I hear that.
I just think he just looked way better in his career as of recent.
Yeah, I
For
hear
sure.
that. I hear that. That's good. That's definitely a some good points right there. We're doing pretty good pace right here, I think. I don't want to jinx it though. What fight are we on here? 7? Unless anyone has any other bets, they want to say.
7.
Good.
I think it's the wine one next.
I'll be betting Nate Landwehr KO probably.
Yeah,
Nate. I'm going to be betting Nate Landwehr straight at minus 110 anyway. So
Yeah,
I'll
that's
definitely-
100%.
throwing-
Yeah, I'll be
I'm throwing
straight.
a
Yeah,
parlay right now.
yeah, I'll be betting him straight at that.
Absolutely.
Those
So
odds
get,
right
get
away.
on him. Get on him now, people, because people are going to pile. People are just going to look at
Yeah,
Julian
we're
Rose's
shift-
record. I know I skimmed through the records, but people are just going to look through his record and go KO, 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 and just bet
LJ,
against him.
You wait till there's 1,000 people watching, and we're shifting betting lines like it's fucking. We gotta put the bets in ourselves first.
Yeah,
you know what I
we
mean?
pre-live.
We gotta
bets.
pre-live put the bets in before they shift.
We shift lines ourselves.
Shift lines like we're shifting stock markets. You know what I mean? Crazy shit. Crazy. One day. But this, even this next fight, man, it's gonna be a good fight. I mean, I think this whole fight, like I keep harping on this card, bunch of good fights throughout the card. I mean, some of these fights, definitely they're like, oh, why are they in this position on the card? I'm sure there's going to be scheduling and shifting. Of course, this is all off Topology's order, I believe. But even at the same time, it's going to be an exciting night of fights, people. I'm excited. Hope you guys are. The next fight up, we got a bantamweight bout at 135 pounds. Eddie Wineland with a 5'7", standing at 5'7" with a 69-inch reach, taking on John Castaneda, 5'6" with a 71-inch reach. Eddie Wineland, 6-8 in the UFC with a 24-14-1 record. John Castaneda, 0-1 in the UFC with a 17-5 record. 6 knockouts, 6 submissions for Castaneda. Eddie Wineland, 6-8 in the UFC, like I said, 24-14-1 record, 15 knockouts, 4 subs for Wineland. I mean, he's coming off that. Well, if you guys didn't already see it, I mean, maybe some of you guys didn't. Me and Dan did the end of the year stream. I was playing the videos. That was one of my knockouts of the year for, he's coming off that knockout loss to Sean O'Malley, Sugar Sean, one Malley, Stevia, one Malley. He was walking Sean down, pretty much looking to touch him with the hooks. I mean, Wineland's kind of got this weird herky-jerky movement where he's kind of moving around. He's got the hands down a little bit. He's just looking to put shots on you. And, he does have some very good counter shots. He is a strong guy that's, able to force some positions. But, I mean, early on in that fight, we saw Sean O'Malley just taking advantage of his little bit of reach, his fluidity with his strikes, and, that singular right hand right over the top. Right after the feint, it was just perfect. O'Malley feinted the uppercut and then really torqued all the way through on the right hand. It was just fucking beautiful. It was a beautiful little walk-away KO for Sean O'Malley. Can't ever take that one away from him over Eddie Wineland. And then as far as the Grigory Popov win, I mean, that's a fight in which Eddie Wineland was able to win by knockout. I mean, he was pretty much walking him down, same herky-jerky style, head moving. He was landing hard, but also taking some shots as he was coming in. He cut Popov pretty early in that fight. I mean, he was dropped early at the start of the round, but even still coming back and moving well. He pretty much ended up landing 4 straight right hands, dropping Popov within 30 seconds left of the first round. Let him up, and then pretty much dropped him again with another singular right, finishing the fight. Castaneda, on the other hand, 0-1 in the UFC with a 17-5 MMA record, like I already said. I'm not going to get into that again. He has already shown us in one fight, like I said, 0-1. He took on Nathaniel Wood. Short notice fight. He got the call. I believe it was 4 or 5 days, and I'm not sure exactly how long it was, but I heard it was not long at all, and he did put up the kind of fight that, you'd like to see from a guy on short notice like that. Like, that's the type of fight you'd like to see, because UD loss was able to come in with some low kicks and punches. Lots of him and Nathaniel Wood were trading shots. Nathaniel Wood just having that, that timing, the feeling with a lot of his shots, able to just touch him with the end of a lot of his shots and just look a little bit better in that fight. But even at the same time, you had Nathaniel Wood who had no quit in him, trying to time with kicks and combos. But I mean, even in the second round, he kind of opened up a little bit more, eating tons of leg kicks, and you could see the damage on the front of his leg throughout the fight. I mean, he was pretty much just outstruck and outcircled and outmoved throughout the fight. But I mean, just a close gap in skill and speed and shot selection that Castaneda needed to make up against a guy like Nathaniel Wood. And I have high praise for Nathaniel Wood. I picked him in that fight, but I mean, hats off to him. Coming in off short notice, I believe it was 5-6 days, and still able to put up a full fight in a fight where, Nathaniel Wood probably, he sees a guy like that. If you're not a dog, you're going to get in there and get your ass fucking finished. So I think that in this fight, we've seen, Eddie Wineland, long career in the UFC, or longer than 0-1, you know what I mean? He's in the double digits now. It's just kind of been a similar kind of path to victory every time for him as far as the striking goes, as far as the movement goes. I don't want to call him a one-trick pony because that's not what he is, and I'm not trying to disrespect him in that kind of way. But I just think that there is some value to betting against him in some of these fights, especially if he's the favorite. I'm not sure what the line is as far as this goes, but I like Castaneda as far as, if he's able to overcome a couple of different things. I think he's got the chin. I think he's got the ability to put some pressure on Wineland. And I think that Wineland, if you watch tape of him, if you watch his fights and stuff like that, you can find tendencies that you can exploit. You know what I mean? Especially with a full camp coming into this fight, knowing you're fighting a guy like Eddie Wineland, now coming off the short notice fight. I think we're going to see something from Castaneda here. I think Castaneda to win this fight. What do you guys think about this one?
I think I'll have to defer to your pick on this one because this is going to be a very hard fight to pick, I think.
100%.
Both guys have obviously shown they can get it done on good nights, but obviously take some bad L's on other nights. So, not a fight that you're going to win a lot of money on, but no, I like your pick.
Yeah, I'd agree with you guys. I don't think I'll be putting any money on this one. I think it's a pretty close fight, but I'll take Castaneda for the pick. I think he's got a very slight advantage in a back and forth striking match.
I want to see him on a full camp. You know what I mean, Dougie? I like to see guys when they get a full camp, especially when we get a little taste, little appetizer. You know what I mean? Little appetize when we're watching him in a 5-day notice kind of fight, and he puts on an effort where I think I had money, like knowing it was a short notice fight. I was keying in on it. I was saying, okay, Nathaniel Wood's gonna stop the guy. I'm pretty sure I had Nathaniel Wood by stoppage. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure I fucking did in a couple of parlays and stuff that night when he fought Nathaniel Wood. But I mean, tons of heart, tons of chin. I mean, I know Nathaniel Wood's not a thumper, but still, got hit with a lot of shots, and especially when you get hit with that many leg kicks, you become kind of somewhat of a stationary target. So I don't know. We'll see. Gonna be a good fight though. LJ, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I've got to go with Castaneda in this one. I'm with you, Pat. I like how he showed up against Nathaniel Wood on short notice. Mm-hmm. He lost the fight unanimous, but he showed up. He showed up as a short notice replacement. He offered some good resistance against Nathaniel Wood. Mm-hmm. Nathaniel Wood, I'm not that high on him, to be honest. But let's face it, he beats Eddie Wineland. Nathaniel Wood beats Eddie Wineland, and he was competitive with. Castaneda was competitive with Wood. So let's look at Eddie Wineland. I mean, Eddie Wineland, we all know we got starched by Sean O'Malley. Potential knockout of the year, obviously.
Yeah.
Before that, I mean, Gregory Popov, I mean, he's just not UFC level. Hasn't had a win in the UFC. Lost a split decision to David Grant and got knocked out by Eddie Wineland. But before that, Eddie Wineland had to fight tooth and nail, had to peel himself off the canvas and fight absolute dogfight against Gregory Popov, who isn't UFC level, and eventually got the knockout. But before that, he's losing a decision to Alejandro Perez. He's losing to John Dodson. He's losing to everyone besides Mizugaki, who's a shell of his former self. This is in 2016, by as well. A shell of his former self in Mizugaki, and Frankie Saenz, who was like 35 at the time. 40. He's older than. Frankie Saenz is older than Wineland now. He's 36. I mean, this guy's on the decline, and he's on the decline pretty quickly. I mean, I give him like one or two more fights, he's gonna probably win, and then it's the end of his career. But I mean, the one thing I'm concerned about, the competition for Castaneda, not that great. He did stand a bit stationary a bit in the Wood fight.
It was
where where I think Wineland, that he can definitely whack. Like, he's old. Don't get me wrong. He's a bit herky jerky. His style's a bit unorthodox, but he can definitely whack. He can punch. But there's openings. But then I don't think Castaneda's got the pop to capitalise on that. So I'm going to go with Castaneda decision. But I don't think Eddie Wineland's a good fighter.
LJ, I know you're on Castaneda's page, his Tapology. Go all the way down and look at. He fought a guy named Bruce Johnson. Go look at that. Go look at that guy. Click that guy. Click that guy. Down all the way at the bottom, like second pro fight.
Okay, Bruce Johnson. Oh my god.
Yeah.
9-53. I mean, I did spot a name up there, and let me find him.
Did you say 9-53?
9-53. Yes.
Just go home, man.
That's the whole problem.
The legendary Joe Pearson, 42, 5'10" flyweight, and he ended his career with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 knockout losses in a row.
My God.
Wow.
That's how I know Joe Pearson. I seen Joe Pearson. I was like, oh my God, he fought Joe Pearson.
Dan, I know.
The original Biscuit Chin Joe Pearson.
Yeah.
But let's move on. I've got Castaneda decision.
Yeah, did we pull up any odds for this one yet? Dan, you pull up any odds for this one, or you just stock trading?
I'm always stock trading.
I know what you're doing. I can see the messages.
Don't worry about it. It's somewhat relevant.
It is relevant. That just made me almost pause my whole stream and just say, fuck that. I gotta cash some shit right now.
No, you can't.
Yeah, I know. We're fucked now. Fucked now, along for the ride. That's what they call it. I got fucked.
Millionaires.
In 2020. Millionaires. Eddie Wineland and, I mean, fuck me, man. I'll take Castaneda at 1.8. I don't know about you boys. Hard fight to call, though.
I like Castaneda. I think he's pretty safe. I think he stays out of the way of the punches. Eddie Wineland. I just think Eddie Wineland has got to fight absolutely tooth and nail with anyone he fights at this point to get a win. I mean, you've seen that in the Popov fight. Popov's not UFC level. I think Castaneda would probably beat up Popov. So personally, I go with Castaneda decision. I don't think he's got the pop to take Wineland out of there. But Castaneda decision.
It's true. I mean, and like, that's the thing. I like Nathaniel Wood as a fighter because I think his stand-up's very good. I think obviously he lacks the pop and stuff like that. But
you can tell the odds. The bookies they're not completely sold on Castaneda. Like as you can see. Like
I know, right? Like I'm not even completely sold.
They're questioning. I think they're looking at the competition level a bit like, should he really be a huge favourite against? Because rightly so. I mean, he's a younger fighter. He's in his prime, and he's had some decent wins. I mean, but you can tell like they're not confident in it.
No, I hear you. That's 100%. Oh man, let's I think we'll roll on here. We're doing good pace here, people. I think. I mean, like I said. We're 8 fights into this motherfucker, and I think we're only an hour 22. That's pretty good for a 15-fight fucking card. I think it's because my ass isn't talking as much, but which is good. But now we're gonna get back to talking heavier amounts. It's a lightweight bout at 155 pounds between Drakkar Klose, 5'9" with a 70-inch reach, and Luis Pena, 6'3" with a 75-inch reach. Drakkar Klose, 5-2 in the UFC with an 11-2-1 record. Luis Pena, 4-3 in the UFC with an 8-3 record. Drakkar Klose, 4 knockouts, no subs. Luis Pena, 2 knockouts, 4 subs. We'll start with Drakkar Klose. He's coming off a KO loss to Neil Dariush. Another fight, people. If you ain't a part of this stream, you got to be a part of the stream because we'll definitely be doing one next year. And we'll definitely keep doing them. You know what I mean? Even a half-year wrap-up or something. Because just me and Dan being able to go through with the chat and some other people just go through a couple different fights of the year and shit like that was awesome. It was one of the fights that I even talked about being one of my comeback fights of the year was the Beneil Dariush Drakkar Klose fight. That's why I'm touching on it. I mean, it was a fight in which we saw Drakkar Klose use his kind of like tight pressure, walking him down early, trying to land heavy shots. He ended up getting taken down. He ended up getting ridden against the cage a little bit, you know. But in that fight, we kind of saw Drakkar Klose kind of put a lot of heavy shots on Beneil Dariush, damaged that leg at one point. I mean, his back was taken with that on that original takedown, and then he ended up even getting the body triangle. And I mean, the end of the first round was pretty much just Beneil Dariush sitting on Drakkar Klose in standing position with Drakkar Klose standing there. Beneil Dariush looking to isolate an arm with the body triangle standing. I mean, in that second round, we saw some huge combos from Drakkar Klose. He pretty much came out with a kick that pretty much hurt and stumbled Beneil. And Beneil's leg looked compromised at that point. And then even at that point, Beneil pretty much just came back like that. Pretty much rushed at him, blitzed him with a blitzing of punches, and I mean, pretty much was able to drop him and end the fight. I mean, it was a great fight, one of the top fights of the year, in my opinion. And then we see another fight of Drakkar Klose. We look at the Christos Giagos fight. I mean, Christos Giagos, obviously a guy we saw step in recently on short notice and get the win against the guy now cut from the UFC. Unfortunate to him. We talked about him. And don't worry, I've got another. And don't worry, at the end of the night tonight, LJ, I've got another 9 people We're gonna call it. We almost have to make it a segment at the end. Call it the chopping block or something.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I got another 9 names for you, man. I got
Let's-
another
let's-
9
let's-
names.
Let's laugh at people losing their jobs. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
exactly. Well, not even, but I mean, we're just talking about because Dana talked about it. People, he talked about it. So we're just guys. We're
Not
just the
messing
guys.
about.
Yeah, he
not
said
messing
we're cutting fucking people. It's overinflated rosters and shit like that. But Iago's fight, I mean, pretty much just stalking him, heavy low kick, opening up with the hands, more so kind of the shots that Close likes to fire. But I mean, when Close fires his hands, I think the shots seem a little bit more labored, a little bit more forced. I mean, he had his back taken to start the second, and pretty much both hooks were put in by Yagos, and Yagos was able to rain down punches. Yagos being a guy that, you know, we've seen, I talked about it, has the ability to gas, ended up kind of gassing in the fight. He pretty much started coming on towards the second half of the second round, though a guy like Director Close did in that fight. I mean, he was just putting the pressure on, heavy shots, eventually scoring with the takedown, finishing that fight eventually. The second half of the third round, he ended up coming on in the fight and ended up getting the takedown and then finishing with the heavy ground and pound. I mean, in a fight like that, you see a guy like Drakkar Close in there and kind of make those reads. I mean, he definitely shows that he's got the ability and got the skill. I think that's going to be a good fight, man. Luis Pena, I'm a huge fan. Violent Bob Ross. I watched that guy coming out of The Ultimate Fighter, season 27. I mean, I was a huge fan of him, you know. Fuck, like, not even the hairstyle, not even, you know, just the story. If you look into this guy, you Google Violent Bob Ross, you Google Luis Pena, and you go look up his story. Just go look it up for me, and then you go tell me, and you come back to me that that's not fucking inspirational. The man was born without his family, ended up going to find them later on in his life. You go figure out the rest for yourself, folks. But he's coming off a submission loss to Kama Worthy. I mean, he had never been finished in his entire career until that fight against his last fight against Kama Worthy. I mean, like I said, submission loss. He was pretty much, I think, in my opinion, it was a very close fight. Landing long shots, staying in, getting countered a little bit quickly by Kama Worthy. We know he's got the shots. They were pretty much just trading shots one for one throughout the first round. He had a good takedown. He passed a guard. He started looking for the arm triangle, but he was taking full mount. He ended up getting the body triangle. He looked for the choke. Almost thought he had it on Kama Worthy there, but it was beautiful work, not able to get it. Pena was then again looking for another TD transition once they returned to the hands and feet. He was getting it, returning to the body triangle once again, just trying to keep putting that work in like he did against Steve Garcia. Just keep putting the work in from the ground. He's got that good ground game. He's got those long legs. He's got that reach. He can flush you in a couple different positions. I mean, he was sticking, moving better, throwing throughout the output in the third, but not able to set up a takedown successfully. Kind of shooting him for some kind of rather errant takedowns, if I would call them myself. I mean, he's got the reach. He's just got to learn how to mesh the two together seamlessly, and I think he's a little bit more of a harder guy to handle. He shot on deep for a takedown, tried to get into side control, but he got hit with the deep guillotine from Kama Worthy, and Kama Worthy was able to choke him out. I mean, close fight, but I mean, Kama Worthy ended up getting it done with the submission. I mean, basically, Pena was kind of looked there, sat there, kind of said, fuck, I fucked up, and that's kind of just what happens in the fight game. The Steve Garcia win, that was pretty much landed on, getting taken down, throwing a kick, getting back up. He looked to, you know, put the hooks in quickly when he ended up getting the takedown, and then, you know, land with good shots. He's always able to land. He's got the long arms. He can put those hooks in and just start working on you, man. Like, it's a pretty good fight. If you watch, it's a lot of scrambling. It's not too exciting, but I mean, he even apologized to the fans after the fight, but still, he said, this isn't the way I like to fight, but even he said, I have to get the win. He was almost able to get the choke a couple different times, but I mean, just ended up pretty much getting relentless TDs, getting the body triangles throughout that fight, and looking to get good ground and pound. Not able to actually finish any type of areas of the fight. I think this fight will definitely be an exciting one. Like I said, short notice call for a guy like Luis Pena. I mean, so it already kind of puts the measuring stick on a guy like him. I mean, when you're getting called in for short notice, it's you're either taking the fight because you see something, or you're taking the fight because you're worried. I mean, or you just want to stay active. I mean, there's a lot of different reasons why these guys might take short notice fights. You know what I mean? They might see something in the matchup, this, that, and the third. I'll be a guy on the call list for that when I'm ready to go. Even just mentally preparing, having yourself ready to be a standby for that fight. I mean, another hard fight to call. I think that we see a lot of skill through two guys, Drakkar Close and Luis Pena. Fuck me, I think that the reach advantage, the height advantage, the variability in skill, I think that a guy like Luis Pena is has learned some lessons here in the UFC, has learned some lessons throughout his career. I think like a guy like Drakkar Klose, he's learned some lessons, but I don't think has learned the same type of lessons that Luis Pena has learned. I think Luis Pena ends up getting this win. That's just my opinion. I don't know. What are you guys thinking? I didn't even bring it up the whole time.
No.
I clicked it and unclicked it. Fuck.
I'm picking Drakkar Klose, but considering how short notice Pena is, and when I first heard about the matchup, my reaction was Klose should be a big favorite. I'd assume he's a big favorite, so I'm probably not going to touch it because I think Pena is a bit more live in this fight than he's going to get credit for.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
But I do have I have Klose, and I think it definitely goes to decision. But I also think that'll be a heavy favorite.
Yep, no, I agree with you, Dougie. Probably leaning towards Klose, but don't really see too much value there. I think Pena could scrape out a close decision potentially, especially we've seen him before. Kind of like if he has an advantageous spot in the grappling department, kind of just sit there and kind of just try and control. Like I don't know, it kind of depends who's judging that night to really see how it gets reflected on the scorecards. But I don't know, we've seen power from Klose before, but yeah, that should be a good fight, but probably not a great one to bet on, to be honest. What do you think, LJ?
Yeah, I've got to go with Drakkar Klose on this one. Probably going to be decision. You know, he's a big lightweight. I think one of you told me he walks around at like 205 pounds or something outside of camp.
Oh yeah, something nuts like that.
I can tell. I mean, he's flat-footed. He looks weight trained when he fights. I mean, I don't know what it was in the Beneil Dariush fight. I'm assuming it's because Beneil Dariush had his back for almost a round, but flat-footed in the second, all over the place. I mean, his footwork was just terrible. I mean, you can tell he's a heavy guy outside of the camp. He doesn't have light feet at all.
Yeah.
That builds into his power. He doesn't move his feet. He's sort of like a stiff walk forward decision.
Yeah. Stiff punches too, right, LJ? Like what I was saying, like everything looks forced.
And he's a big. He's not a weight bully, but he's a big lightweight, and you know he's cutting a lot of weight. On the other hand, I mean, Luis Pena, 6'3", 75-inch reach, used to fight. Actually attempted to fight at featherweight. I mean, get this guy a sandwich. Get him a sandwich. You know what I mean? Like he's just go to welterweight or do something. He's just too skinny. I mean, look at his wins. Like you said, Steve Garcia, the most lackluster win ever. Steve Garcia. I mean, he was just him. He back control against Steve Garcia, and Steve Garcia throwing punches because he had his back for that long. It was an absolute snooze fest. Then he comes in there against Kama Worthy, who, let's face it, Kama Worthy overachieved in the UFC. I mean, he knocked out Devontae Smith, upset knockout, and then he upsets against Luis Pena with a come from behind submission. He was a minus 265 in that, was Pena. He looks good for 2 rounds, yeah, fair enough. But he gasses out and he gets finished. The Matt Frivola fight, call it what you want, a close fight. You could give it to either fighter, but you know he's coming in there and he's a favourite, and he's so lackluster. Like he's not consistent at all. He's so lackluster. I'm hoping that maybe now he's an underdog, he might get out of bed and go, okay, this is actually a guy who's going to put it on me. Yeah. You know, he hurt Drakkar Klose. You know, I don't believe he's got pop like that. I think he just, I mean, we talk about, we hear about, what's he called? Dariush after the fight. He had a complete, blew his knee out, like his knee was toast. That's why he was on bad legs. And he came back and stopped Drakkar Klose, who was flat-footed and has terrible footwork at 155. I mean, he should think about moving up to 70, but not really. I mean, I don't think he would survive against the punches at 170 if he's getting chinned by Dariush. No. But I'm hoping Bob Ross, I call him Bob Ross, Luis Pena, whatever. Bob Ross, get him a sandwich, please. Just move up to 70 or something. Like, just do something. But plus 135, I'm hoping he comes out and makes a fight of it, because this is the first time in ages which he's not a huge favourite. he's actually an underdog in this fight, slight underdog, but
Love it.
I'm hoping he makes a fight of it. I'm gonna go with the upset. I'm not too high on Jakar Close.
Let's go.
Please do it for me, Luis Pena.
Let's go. We don't see LJ
I
take a lot of dogs.
Yeah, we've got to go with Luis Pena on this one. I mean, Jakar Close. Yeah, if he wins the decision, I don't really care. Like, what have I got to lose? Like, he's not really. He's 32. Luis Pena, 27, getting better as the years go on. I mean, 32-year-old Jakar Close, he's not going to be any better than he has in his last few fights. He's 32, you know, he's in his prime, and he's not broke the top 10 in lightweight yet. I mean, the guys in 32 are at 32 in the prime are in the top 5 who are going to make any sort of movements in the division.
I hear
so
that.
I don't see him being a contender anytime soon. So I've got to go with Bob Ross. Give me Bob Ross decision.
Let's do it. I'm fucking
I'm
into
liking
it.
what you're saying. I'm
Competitive
liking the
decision,
value.
scrappy.
On
I
the
think
decision.
he can handle himself. I think he can handle himself on the ground against Close, and I think he makes I think with Close he makes a close fight out of it and wins the fight. Split decision. Let's go. Maybe a few split rounds or whatever.
It will be close because, as I said, we see Pena. He gets some sort of advantageous.
Does not win
position.
emphatically. Let's face it.
Or he'll just like
he
sit back.
falls
in his
asleep. He
butterfly
falls
guard
asleep
and
for a bit. He falls asleep for a bit. He wakes up at the 2.5 minute mark. He ekes out the win. You know, he doesn't really want to be there. He's a minus 300 against whoever. You know, he only looks sensational against Matt Weinman, who came out of retirement after 4 years out of the octagon. So that's the only guy he's finishing. So yeah, I do expect him to, you know, if he's going to win, it's going to be a close, scrappy split decision win.
Love it. Close. Let's get it. Not close, but close.
Close,
right.
close, but close. Yeah, not close.
Yeah, close, but not close. I like that.
Let's go. Okay.
I like that. Close, but not close.
Any last comments, fellas, on this one?
No, I think we're unless you guys have anything, I think we're good for that one.
I think we did a good enough job covering that one.
Yeah, I mean, this one I think is going to be another kind of one we look at. We go,
This is gonna be this is just gonna be like LJ was saying, it's just a long prelim.
Yeah, I mean, it's featherweight bout at 145 pounds. Will be another
UFC. Forget UFC Fight Night or UFC on ESPN or UFC ABC, whatever. It's UFC prelim. I've never seen so many prelims and a prelim and a prelim and a prelim card ever in my life.
I thought it was, but you know what? That's kind of the weird thing. I think we'll get a fucking fantastic card out of it.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, no,
we'll
big card. We're gonna get
perfect
liquor.
card.
We should do some.
You're gonna get upsets. You're gonna get round bets. You're gonna get everything.
Get out of here, man.
You should get schlick bombed.
You already are schlick
I think it starts at like 4:30 or something nuts. We're gonna get.
Does it?
What?
That's what it said on Fight Pass.
It starts at 4:30.
Oh yeah, it's early. It's early. Yeah.
Prelims 4:30.
Oh, get out of here! These early ones, man. Fuck me up, man.
Not an ounce of calories will be in your gut. It would be dead.
No, I know that's what gets
We
me,
may
right? I don't
see-
have enough calories in my stomach when I start pounding and watching fights.
It's about an hour earlier than the for me usually. They usually are about
It's not crazy.
10, 11 o'clock my time.
That's not bad for
It's
you.
gonna be a nice long haul though. I prefer that than it being later into the night. I prefer it wrapping up early,
Yeah, so would I. I think you're definitely right, but I mean, my body's just not adjusted to it.
especially more chance that you make it too.
I would say no. I would say it's the other way around. Like, think about it. If you do the math and you're like, oh, cards
you start
where...
early. What?
Yeah, the fucking card that I didn't make it was
Here he is.
an
Here
early
he is.
start.
Salute J Blues in the chat.
Yeah, the card was the card that I didn't make it was an earlier start. It was an hour earlier start.
Yeah, whatever you want to tell yourself.
I mean, I don't know.
Whatever lets you
let's
sleep at night.
fly on to this next fight. Let me fly through it because, like I said, it's gonna be a rather quick one again. I'll fly through it pretty quick. Featherweight about 145 pounds. Jared Flash Gordon, 5'9" with a 68-inch reach, taking on Janny Chavez, 5'8" with a 67-inch reach. Jared Gordon 4-3 in the UFC with a 16-4 MMA record. 6 knockouts, 2 subs. Janny Chavez 1-0 in the UFC with 11-3 MMA record, 3 knockouts, no subs. Jared Gordon's coming off a UD win over Chris Fishgold. I mean, takedown for Fishgold early in the fight. Gordon really looks like he thought he pretty much had the guillotine. Jared Gordon pretty much thought he hopped onto the guillotine and pulled pretty much pulled him down into his guard. Gordon able to fight out of a tight guillotine from Fishgold at that point after them transitioning, and then able to get into full guard and land some good bombs from top. It was a beautiful takedown shot by Gordon to start the second round. He was able to transition out of the guard and isolate an arm. He was then back at the ground and pound, same kind of routine in the third, and he was pretty much just a dominant fight for a guy like Chris Fishgold. Unless I have that fucked up. I don't know why for a guy like Jared Gordon, I don't know why I had that all the wording messed up. It was a dominant fight for Jared Gordon. He was pretty much able to just take him down and just do a lot of ground and pound, a lot of work from the ground, transition through a lot of different positions, and just show a lot of variability, a lot of flexibility in that fight. As far as the Charles Oliveira fight, I mean, KO lost. He got hurt trying to close the distance, and he pretty much got slept by Charles Oliveira, coming in with a right hand and hook as he was trying to land a 1-2. It was pretty much beautiful. As far as Danny Chavez, on the other hand, like I said, 1-0 in the UFC, so it's his second bout in the UFC, 11-3 MMA career. 3 knockouts, no subs. He's coming off a UD win over TJ Brown, in which they were pretty much trading leg kicks throughout the start of the fight. He was landing some fast hands as Brown came in. Like I said, Danny Chavez does look like he does have some fast hands. And I mean, that low kick that he likes to throw, that's something that hurts people. Like, it hurt Brown in that fight. He was able to catch Brown coming in with some punches. He dropped him with the leg kick with 2 minutes to go. He was pretty much just chopping and moving a lot with the leg kick. He was also able to drop Brown with the counter right and some punches. I mean, he slowed down. He ended up getting pressured a little bit in the third, but he was able to get the beautiful takedown chained, 3 beautiful takedowns chained together at the end of that round, pretty much just throwing out that fight. I mean, even against the guy who's supposed to be the wrestling favorite against the standing favorite, Danny Chavez showed a lot of different kind of avenues as well. I think it's a hard fight to call because I see the ability of Chavez being somewhat special at 145 until he meets some upper echelon striker wrestlers or someone that can truly test him. I think he's one of these guys throughout his career who's been truly trying to get into the UFC, now having that opportunity to impress again. I see him doing so. I see both guys putting on an absolute war. I see Chavez being that guy in this fight, having the better striking, the better movement, the better gas tank, deal with the takedown heavy style coming from a guy like Jared Gordon. I just see a guy like Danny Chavez winning this fight. What do you guys think?
Gotta go with Chavez, in my opinion.
I'm gonna go against you guys and go Gordon. Sorry, you can say your spiel.
No, go ahead. I'm not on spiel. Oh, yeah,
no, LJ had something. I think
I was get over with Danny Chavez. I mean, he beat TJ Brown. We all know TJ Brown fights like an idiot, but he's got good wrestling. And he tested the wrestling of Danny Chavez, and that's predominantly Jared Gordon's game. I mean, I do worry about the chin of Jared Gordon. I mean, I know it's been up a weight class, but 3 first-round knockouts, you've got to worry about that chin. And Chris Fishgold is a grappler, and that's the only really relevant win he's had since. I think Danny Chavez can bang. I think he uses that anti-wrestling, like Chuck Liddell style, but he can bang. But I'm not sure about the power because he's had 3 knockouts, and they're his only knockouts. I mean, they're against 8-8, 6-0, which is decent, 6-2, but 8-8. Maybe he's not the power's not there at this level, But I've got to go with Danny Chavez. I think he's live for just decision. But I'm waiting for Jared Gordon to fight a puncher. I think that chin's compromised. But give me Danny Chavez this decision. I just think he out wrestles and outgrinds Jared Gordon.
Give me 1 second here. We got someone in the stream. Yo, what's going on, man? I don't know if you're muted right now. I usually open it up to a bigger panel towards the end of the fight, towards the end of the breakdown, and we're already a couple fights off. So if you want to come in after that, we'll be sure to have you back then, man. I'll repost a link towards the end if you don't mind. Okay.
Well, I don't even know why. Yeah, you bothered adding him in, but okay, let's go.
What do you mean?
Well,
what do you mean? Just tell him.
We could have told him. He would have heard it either
whatever.
way.
2 sec,
You didn't
boys.
have to add him in just to put
He was
him
like,
out.
no, 2 sec, boys. I don't have 2 seconds. We're just gonna
Okay.
roll through this. We're just gonna keep rolling through this, man. We just gotta keep rolling through this. We're getting close. We're getting close.
Yeah, I had Gordon. I just think it's. I think Chavez is the more talented striker, but I think it's going to be one of those fights where the more talented guy sits on the outside, and Gordon's going to pressure him, and it's going to look pretty to the judges, and I think he squeaks out a decision here.
Good. I like
just
that.
from volume and pressure.
Yep, you're right. Could definitely do it too. Dan's just looked at the card. He's just seeing the names for the first
Sorry,
time.
what? What are you saying? What was it? What were you talking about?
No, keep going.
No, I think like you said, it's gonna be a super close fight.
Okay.
Probably go down to a round or two. Probably seeing coming down to like the third round, who squeaks it out. And I obviously, yeah, completely possible that Gordon could get caught, but I think being up the weight class gives him a more solid chance to put on a good show, not get caught by anything too major. And what the hell is he talking about?
Just keep going, man. Come on, you're the one talking, man.
No, yeah, but I think Gordon will have enough in the tank to just squeak out a close win. So I think it'll be a nice split down the panel. Me and Dougie taking Gordon, you guys taking Chavez.
Yeah, man. I hear that. I like that. I think me and Dougie are on pace this week. Me and Dougie are gonna have a dominant week. We're going teams this week, motherfucker. That's how we're doing it. Sherm's on his own team. Boys, bring me in.
You and Dougie. Or just saying, me and Dougie are taking.
Boy, I'll bring you in for a minute. Hanging with the boys. See, he's funny, man. I'll appreciate it. He's funny, man. I'll bring you in at the end. We gotta roll through these. We got 15 this week, man. We just gotta
couple
get
more
this.
fights to
and
get
then
through.
and then I open the motherfucker up to everyone. I'll open it up even at the end. I'll cap it off, and then we come back for the co-main and the main. Because if it looks like you want to talk about the main, any shit like that, I'll keep you backstage the whole time. But we gotta keep rolling through this. I can't add another person. I'll make you have 40 plus watching tonight. Number one fan, bros. I got 30. Okay, man, what's going on, brother? What's going on?
What the fuck?
He just laughed. And we're already laughing.
He couldn't
at this
believe
guy.
you added
It's like,
him after that.
But it's like we already laughed at him when he couldn't spell, like he couldn't even enunciate the words in typing.
Well, he's trolling.
Yeah, I mean, I like.
He's not.
But I like myself a
spell them
nice
right.
troll, though. But I like myself a nice troll, even if he's got his input, right? Like, come in with your input at the end, talk about UFC with us. Ain't no reason to troll nothing. We ain't fucking doing anything. We're just talking about the fights. And there's 4 of us motherfuckers here. So.
All right, well, let's get on to the next one, unless
Absolutely.
anyone has anything to add on this one.
Unless anyone else has got anything to add on this one. I mean, we're already at number 10 in this bitch. We're rolling our way through. We're on to Papa Andre Arlovsky. Dan, if you don't mind reading it after, read it for your portion. Read the text I sent you for the portion of your thing. It's a heavyweight bet of 265 pounds between Andre Arlovsky, 6'3", with a 77-inch reach, and Tom Aspinall, 6'5", with a 78-inch reach. Andre Arlovsky, 19-11 in the UFC with a 30-19 MMA record. Tom Aspinall, 2-0 in the UFC with a 9-2 MMA record. Andre Arlovsky, 17 knockouts, 3 subs. Tom Aspinall, 8 knockouts, 1 sub. Andre Arlovsky coming off that UD win over Tanner Boser, man. Fuck, he looked great in that fight. I picked Andre Arlovsky to beat Tanner Boser and make the upset against the Canadian in that fight. I know that's, it sounds kind of crazy, but I mean, slow kind of start for both men. Both men kind of respecting each other's power. Arlovsky kind of checking some leg kicks early from Tanner Boser. Both men largely kind of at a range for the first. Arlovsky landed some good kicks, landing some hard counter right hands as well throughout the fight, even towards the end of the well. Very close second round, tons of shots thrown. Couple arguably more landed by Arlovsky, and then in that third round, Arlovsky kind of opened up a little bit more, and it was a pretty close fight. But I mean, like I said, Arlovsky was able to kind of pose some veteran tactics and take that fight away from Tanner Boser. I mean, Tanner Boser being a guy that wants to come in there and put the power on you and drop a guy like Andre Arlovsky. Andre Arlovsky looked great in that fight, looked great, moved well, and put shots on well. As far as the Felipe Lins fight, that was another good fight for Andre Arlovsky, in which got a UD win, moving very well throughout the fight, looking to counter, heavy pressure from Felipe Lins, only looking to throw pretty much a low percentage and then significantly throwing less punches as the fight went on. Like Felipe Lins, I think, threw 40-something strikes in the first round and then didn't even come close to throwing anything like that throughout the rest of the fight. He pretty much ended up tiring him out. Andre Arlovsky landing about 20 significant strikes per round, just easily walking through Felipe Lins there as far as a UD win. I mean, it was a pretty good fight for Andre Arlovsky. We're kind of seeing like a resurgence, or at least a step. He's kind of a guy, like, you can't just throw bullshit against him or it won't stick. As far as a guy like Tom Aspinall, obviously we all know he's got a pretty extensive career in the British British boxing scene, obviously being one of these guys that's being touted for sparring with Tyson Fury and stuff like that. 8 knockouts, 1 sub. He's coming off a KO win over Alan Badeau. I mean, striking him down, pretty much entering and exiting, trying to find some range and distance, eventually finding the opening with an inside leg kick, turning his opponent, and then stepping in with the rear right. I mean, he then ended up getting the takedown against the fence, full guard quickly, then raining down some punches until the opponent pretty much covered up, and he was able to win that fight. As far as the Jake Collier fight, I mean, I don't know if a lot of you guys saw that fight. Jake Collier being one of these guys that should probably be excommunicated from the UFC. I mean, it sounds bad to say, but I mean, just not UFC level caliber, not what he once was with the whole weight gain and everything that shifted out. I'm sure they're just trying to finish out the end of his contract. That was a KO win as far as for a guy like Tom Aspinall. That was a pretty easy fight, which Jake Collier just didn't look much like he wanted to be there. He pretty much started opening the round with some leg kicks, some 1-2s from range, and then pretty much he timed his opponent, Jake Collier, coming in, landed the perfect knee to the body, and then a 1-2 right in the nose, dropping his opponent, finishing the fight. I mean, I think throughout this fight, it's going to be a game plan and a variety of strikes. I think stamina is definitely going to come into play too, as Arlovsky's probably going to look to draw some shots out of Aspinall, him being probably aggressive, wanting to get the stoppage against a guy like Arlovsky, and land his consistent counterpunch game throughout. I think it's definitely a harder fight to call than it may seem, because obviously the experience level of Andrei Arlovsky and shows he's never, he's coming off that win against Tanner Boser, so even right there, right, he's stopping a guy that's arguably a bigger prospect than Tom Aspinall. I mean, I don't want to do MMA math, but I mean, it's just hard for some of these heavier strikers, some of these guys that want to land those shots and that are looking to land those shots against Arlovsky to pin him down and throughout these fights with his movement. So I just think that, man, it's a super hard fight for me to pick. I want to look at the lines first before picking this fight. I think definitely Aspinall is definitely the guy looking at, this being kind of the stepping stone for him. But, don't get yourself twisted with a guy like Andrei Arlovsky. And I know Dan's going to say the whole point, kind of going to say the whole point of what I texted him earlier today.
What, you want me to say that now?
And you know who that was, too? That was fucking Boone.
Excuse me, what?
That was Boone.
What just happened?
But it didn't sound like him. It sounded like a guy that was trolling. It sounds like we got ourselves a troll, which is a fan.
Why you keep adding back in?
It was Boone. Oh, that was not me, bro. See, so I was going to say, it sounds like we got ourselves a major league next level troll here, boys. I love that shit.
No,
I love that
he's
shit.
Infiltrated the street. You fucked up.
What are you talking about?
I don't know.
You don't
Wait,
know
did
anything.
you add him thinking it was Boone?
Yeah, it said literally DT through the Boom Man. It's because you can make your name whatever you want. The guy's a smart kid. I mean,
You want me to...
he knows technology like any one of us other fucking millennials. Oh, fucking great. Hats off to you, brother. Clapping to you. We're not 40-year-olds on the internet trying to use StreamYard for the first time. You know what I mean? It'll show the real email with the burner. Appreciate it, brother. Appreciate it. I'm going to start doing that from advance. Appreciate that. But yeah, let's keep on rolling through this motherfucker, man.
You didn't want me to say that?
Yeah, say it. Do your points. I just
No, I
gave
thought
mine.
you
I'm
said
waiting
you
for you
want me to
guys.
say the text.
Yeah,
that you
with
sent
your
me.
little line, with your little who you're
line?
picking in this who you're picking in the fight.
Oh, well, what order do you want me to do? You want me to say that first?
Say the whole thing, like it's all put together.
Andre, fuck your parlay and your mother, Arlovsky.
Yeah, that's what I sent Dan earlier today. Andre, fuck your mother and your parlay Arlovsky, because that's a guy that's he's coming around to do this for a lot of people, man, and he will do this for a lot of people.
Yeah, I think Aspinall will probably be able to get it done though. I think obviously we saw a pretty decent performance out of him against Boser in his last fight, but probably going back down to the I'll call him for Arlovsky in this one. Just too quick, too crisp with the hands for Aspinall.
I hear that.
I'm going Aspinall. I think it's going to be I think Andre's going to be able to slow it down. And he might even be able to drag it to a decision because he's such a dog. But I think Aspinall is going to outstrike him, even at a slow or fast pace.
Mm-hmm. I hear that. That's for sure.
You gotta pull up the odds there, Pat?
I hear you, Jay. I'm gonna definitely start doing that. I didn't think that this sweet channel would be enough to commemorate haters yet. But I mean, if we got haters, we're doing something right. So, or we've pissed off the right types of people, which is good too.
It's a milestone, that is.
Yeah, you know what I mean. That's what I'm looking at it as. I ain't looking at it as a negative. It's a milestone. It's a milestone.
I'm stuck. I'm stuck on this fight. I'm so stuck on this fight. Have you ever played Call of Duty?
Of course.
You know Call of Duty Zombies when you get the mystery box.
Yep.
Yeah.
You don't know what gun you're gonna get.
Yeah.
Andrei Arlovski with his chin, you don't know what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
I mean, he could get starched in 30 seconds by Rosenstrike,
Yeah.
or he could go the entire 15 minutes with Felipe Lins or Tannenboser and not get chinned.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just completely unpredictable.
Yeah.
Look at his record. I mean, he beat Tannenboser. I think Tannenboser won that fight,
Yeah.
edged it out, but he did
Yeah.
land the bigger shots. I mean, I think
Yeah, I agree.
I hear that.
Philippe Lins, he's 1 foot out the door. Do we forget that he won the $1 million PFL tournament? Like he's 1 foot out the door. He doesn't have a fight, and he's giving Arlovski resistance. Fair enough. Rosenstrike just knocks him out in 29 seconds. I mean, that's Rosenstrike. He's a banger. Come on, we know this. Sakai, I think he won that fight. Walt Harris, split decision. Walt Harris is on the juice. I still think he won the fight. You know? And then let's look at Tom Aspinall. I mean, Jake Collier to get in the UFC. I mean, Jake Collier is completely off the couch. I mean, they couldn't have thought of a weaker opponent for Tom Aspinall. They go, oh, are we going to give him a light heavyweight? No, don't give him a light heavyweight. Oh, could we give him a heavyweight? No, don't give him a heavyweight. Oh, so we'll give him a fat middleweight who can't make light heavyweight because he's so undedicated. He's completely just 1 foot out the door, doesn't want to fight. He's out off the couch. He comes in at like 264, just doesn't look like a fighter and gets starched in like 40 seconds with like a knee to cross down the middle. Badass finish, don't get me wrong, but I mean, and then you see that win kind of aged a little bit. It kind of aged well a little bit for Aspinall. You see, Collier actually came back and won against Jan Villante. I mean, you see, he's quite useful. He's not completely useless in the UFC, is Jake Collier. But I mean, before that, I mean, Alan Badeau. Who? Alan Badeau. I mean, a former light heavyweight who's the only fight of any relevance was a 20-second knockout loss to Dalcha Langombula, and besides that, he's fought nobody. Now let's look at the fight that Aspinall, the big fight that got him in the UFC against 2-0 Mikhail Ben Hamouda, some bum from France that doesn't even have his reach on the Tapology record.
Yeah.
I mean, the competition level for Aspinall is absolutely terrible. I mean, 3-7 fighter, 2-0, 0-0. I mean, the only decent fighter who he fought was he just happened to lose a DQ. It was a DQ loss, 12-6 elbow. Okay, I'll put a line through it. And then a heel hook loss to 8-2 Stuart Austin. But besides that, but the competition is terrible. I mean, yeah, he's blowing these guys out of the water, but yeah, his best win is off the couch Jake Collier and Alan Badeau, who's fought nobody and just was getting pieced up until he decided to throw spinning back fist after spinning back fist after spinning back fist. And then Tom Aspinall takes him down, beats him up. Okay, early stoppage, or say what you want.
Yeah,
still gets the win. But I mean, I'm watching some tape of Aspinall. There's some aspects of like he's light on his feet, and he's a big lad, and he can whack. He's a banger. Don't get me wrong, and he's fast. He's really fast. But there's little aspects, especially when he's engaging in a clinch, where he's like he's stationary and he's flat-footed. And I just think Andrei Arlovski, the experience is far too much. It's just far too much. It's too much too soon. I think if he loses the fight, I think he loses the decision to Andrei Arlovski. I think just Andrei Arlovski outmaneuvers him, lands the better shots, just outmaneuvers him, just stays out the power and outboxes him. Like he's done with his last few opponents. Yeah, because he can't afford to get chinned. It's not like he's walking through shots against these guys. He's winning. Yeah. He's fighting. He's fighting technically, and he's fighting defensively. Yes, and he's coming in lighter than he was in his last fight. He says he's lighter on his feet and stuff. Yeah. I'm taking Andrei Arlovski. The line is far too wide. Yeah. I've not seen anything from Tom Aspinall besides those 2 wins that they're nothing to run home about. Yeah, I mean, I can rip into his resume all day, but he's fought no one. And like I said, there's these little things I'm seeing, and like especially when he engages in the clinch against Alan Badeau, he's stationary, like he's just standing, he squares up for a second before he initiates the clinch. Like you can tell there's little aspects where he's he is a little bit green. Maybe you should hold off on the Andrei Arlovskis, on the Tanner Bozes and all that, and all those sort of fights with experience competition for a little bit, because I just think Andrei Arlovski, yeah, he's been chinned and yeah, he's unpredictable, but the experience is there and his movement's not changed at all. I mean, yeah, maybe his reflexes are a bit off, slowed down a little bit, but he's still light on his feet. He can still box really well. I mean, he's put a clinic on some dudes in previous fights.
I hear that. No, I hear that. Yeah, man. I close fight to look at, man. I think that, like I said, I think I'm gonna go with Papa Arlovski.
I'm going with Arlovski. I'm with you, Pat. I'm going with him. I've been thinking about it all week. I'm like, look at the record, and then I'm looking at the record. I'm like, oh my god! And then he fought a 2-0 bum to get in the UFC. I'm like, oh wow, the competition. I mean, I know he looks impressive. He looks really good, and the movement's there, and he can bang, and he's quick for a heavyweight of his size. But I just think the experience level, it's just too much too soon.
Agreed.
And yeah, you can chin him early. Like, 100%. Because that's how you're going to get Arlovski, catch him cold. That's how you get these old veterans, man. You catch him cold.
I hear that. Well,
in the opening 40 seconds, but
yeah,
I've got Arlovski winning the decision.
No, I hear that. That's a good pick. I like that pick for sure. We are continuing to move on to our. I believe it's all where I'm going the wrong way here. Sorry, people. Fucking. Believe that's the next fight. Yep, it is. Oh man, this is gonna be another good fight, man. I think we got good fights throughout this card. That's why it's kind of interesting throughout the card. But I mean, we got another fight that's been rescheduled, canceled once before, trying to have it up again. I'm gonna try and roll through it pretty quick. Middleweight bout at 185 pounds. We got Phil Haas, 6 foot with a 77.5-inch reach, taking on Nasruddin Imavov, 6'3" with a 75.5-inch reach. So 2-inch differential for Phil Haas. He's got that 2-inch advantage. 1-0 in the UFC for Phil Haas, 9-2 MMA record. Nasruddin Imavov, 1-0 in the UFC with a 9-2 MMA record. Phil Haas, 7 knockouts, 2 subs. Imavov, 3 knockouts, 4 subs. Phil Haas coming off a KO win over Jacob Malkoun. He pretty much just walked his smaller, less experienced opponent to the fence, put him on a flurry of hooks. Malkoun stunned, taking no more than 18 seconds in that fight. As far as the Cadiz Bastia fight, that was another knockout win for Phil Haas. He pretty much crowded the bigger men right away with his high-level kickboxing style. He throws very good low kicks, chops to the legs relentlessly, and he's catching a sloppy right hook and counters with his own huge right hook, knocking out his 6'6" opponent cold, stone cold with one shot. As far as the Julian Marquez fight, that was a KO loss. Obviously, we just saw Julian Marquez win this weekend. That was the first Dana White Contender Series fight in 2017. That was his fight. His last loss, this fight wasn't 3 fights ago. This was actually 5 fights ago. So I think he's been on a little bit of a win streak, unless I have that incorrectly written. This is from obviously a couple weeks ago. Good leg kicks and feints to set up punches. He shoots good clinch and takedown, exits with good elbows. Looks to take Marquez's back and ends up with hammering shots from half guard, relentless and looking for the takedown. Lands a lead good elbow to end the first. He blocked with some punches, not fully recovered on the feet, tired. Taken down more than once, gets it for the final time, and then eats a head kick, lights out. In the second, 2 minutes into the second round. I mean, as far as Nasruddin Imavov goes, on the other hand, 3 knockouts, 4 subs. Like I said, he's coming off a win over Jordan Williams. Nice and light on his toes, karate-style stance using. He's very light, moving, able to throw good feints. Good leg kick, shoots with the right hand, gets dazed a little bit, but instantly shooting for the takedown. I mean, get knocked down, showing his chin, landing some good steep 1-2s, rocking with a stimulating back fist. I mean, instantly shooting for the takedown, clinching up against the fence. Threw up a tight guillotine and almost choked out Williams for the end of the round ends. I mean, just hands well, gets tired, less movement, more stationary, but hard shots as the fight goes on. He has some good pull counters throughout the fight. I mean, heavy elbow shot against the fence, looks to punch off the break, look for another good guillotine, able to tighten it up. But I mean, he showed good cardio in the third, able to mix some stiff fast punches to the head and body. As far as the Jonathan Mir fight, that was a KO win for Nasruddin Imavov. In that fight, he both pretty much a fast-paced fight. This fast-paced start fight. Both men looking for the TD. Imavov able to stuff a takedown, grab a guillotine and throw some punches on the break. I mean, it looked pretty good. He landed a large right hand that stumbled his opponent, followed by a hook that dropped him, and then he took his back. He was able to, he ended up getting cut deeply, some hard elbows on the ground, but he was able to come out with the KO win over Jonathan Meaner, knocking him out in in full mount. I mean, in this fight, I think with this one of you even evenly more match fights we see all night. I think both guys, there's not only they have the power to finish, but also the power to wrestle one another. I think this is a fight in which we saw Hawes employ his wrestling a lot in the striking plan against Marquez, where he had more success. I think in the first round he was unable to recover once caught with a good shot in round 2. But I mean, the question being, the fight was over 3 years ago. In my opinion, his best to date. I think since that loss, he's fought relatively all 500 fighters, having more than double-digit wins and losses. In most recent, his opponent Malkoun only having 4 pro fights to his name. My point being, the difficulty level is definitely going to be turned up quickly with a guy like Imavov. Sure, he hasn't fought the most noticeable or amazing opponents either, but as far as the level of Jordan Williams fight, I mean, he did take everything he had from Imavov. I know Jordan Williams are not going to write home about this. I believe even people, when I get back to this right now, because I'm done breaking down this fight, we fucking broke down this fight already once before, or at least me and LJ did. I remember LJ being there, and LJ's gonna get back onto the Jordan Williams fight because I remember it. It's almost like I remember it in clockwork. I could be wrong, but so I could be wrong. What do you guys have to say about this fight? I think I'm probably gonna take, like, originally I wanted to take Phil Hawes. I mean, Imavov obviously beat Phil Hawes. Fuck, part of me still wants to take Imavov, but I mean, even after time passing, I think more of it looks like a Phil Hawes fight. But I mean, fuck, I don't know. It's gonna have to see the lines first, but I think I'll probably end up taking Imavov.
I'm gonna take Hawes by TKO here. I think he's just got the power to go in there and get it done early. I think he can. I'm not worried about the ground game whatsoever. I think Hawes is a better wrestler but I think he's gonna use his power shots here and finish him on the feet pretty early.
Good prediction. Good prediction. LJ, what do you have to say? It's probably Dan ripping a bowl. Dan, is it you ripping a bowl or is it LJ? One of you guys ripping a bowl?
I think it's Dan.
I'm thinking Phil Hawes. I was gonna say KO TKO like Dougie, but for some reason I feel like Imavov may be able to survive 15. But probably UD.
He's got the value to be able to take him
UD
straight
Hawes.
up.
Pretty even odds here too.
Interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah, no, I like Hawes. That's pretty much as a pick 'em.
Yeah.
I wouldn't try and because I think that definitely there's a chance he could turn his lights out, but yeah, interesting fight to pick. So you're kind of still back and forth, Pat? Maybe see the guys on the scales kind of thing.
Yeah, it's definitely something I want to see. I want to see these guys on the scales for sure. I want to see how Imavov looks. I want to see how Hawes looks. But I mean, fuck, like I probably want to have to go with my original prediction, which is being Imavov. I think Imavov's got the better tank. I think he's got a little bit better wrestling. I think Phil Hawes might end up actually gassing in this fight, and Imavov end up taking over, winning some of the later rounds. But I don't know. It's definitely one of these ones I want to revamp myself on a little
Could
bit.
also be like fight of the night. It'd be a great fight.
Oh, there's so many fights, man. That's why this card is.
I'm back.
You're good. Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Perfect. Your turn to break it down.
Oh, yes. Don't have much for this fight. Like a previous fight that we had before, I don't really have much for it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Imanov, I don't like the way he fought against Jordan Williams. Far too scrappy, far too just far too scrappy, not technical at all. Kind of fought like a frustrating fight against each other. Like didn't really show much technique. I mean, Phil Hawes, I'm not high on Phil Hawes. I mean, we got knocked out against Julian Marquez, and I mean, they had to find the lowest of the low to get him a win in the UFC. I mean, Jacob Malkoun, 3-0, no one's ever heard of him. I mean, he only got the fight because he was training with Robert Whittaker. I mean, so you're telling me he's getting beat up by Robert Whittaker, and he's got a fight at Terminator in Phil Hawes, and he just gets wrecked in like 15 seconds, and that's the only win he's had in the UFC, and that's like the lowest of the low, and a non-UFC caliber fighter who shouldn't have been in there with him, and then, besides that, he's not had another win in the UFC, so it's a close fight. I've not got much for it. I'm gonna have to go with Imanov. I'm not really high on Phil Hawes. I think if you get out the first round with him, he's food outside of the first round.
I hear that. I hear that. I like that me and LJ, like I said, are going in together on a lot of these picks this week. It's almost going to be a team battle type deal this week, people. A team battle, but I think we'll move on. We'll keep coasting through. We still got fucking 4 of these bastard fights left. I mean, there's so many fights this week, and we got another crazy one to talk about up next real quick here. I mean, holy shit. It's like they just don't stop on this card, but I mean, with 15 fights, they don't really. Heavyweight bout at 265 pounds. We got Alexei Oleinik, 6'2" with an 80-inch reach, taking on Chris Daukaus, 6'3" with a 76-inch reach. Alexei Oleinik, 7-5 in the UFC, 59, 14-1 MMA record. Chris Daukaus, 2-0 in the UFC with a 10-3 MMA record. Alexei Oleinik, 8 knockouts, 46 submissions. Yes, you heard that right, people. 46 fucking submissions in his pro career. Chris Daukaus, 9 knockouts, no subs. Alexei Oleinik, he's coming off a TKO loss against Derek Lewis, who's going to be in the main event tonight. So this is kind of like a double take fight. I mean, Alexei Oleinik was pretty much looking for the choke, looking to do some groundwork with about a minute and a half after getting dropped. He ended up reversing the position. He went into the scarful position with Derek Lewis on the ground. He was able to, partially get a choke going on Derek Lewis, but not able to finish it. And then towards the start of the second round, he was unable to kind of get it and get his takedown. And then he pretty much ended up getting clipped right off the start of the second round by Derek Lewis, pretty much charging. And as far as the Fabricio Verdum fight, that was a split decision win for Alexei Oleinik. He was pretty much pressing him with power, walking him down, swinging some shots and landing, partially reckless, some would say, forcing him against the fence in the clinch. Round 2, looking to get the clinch, getting to put putting a momentary guillotine on. He was put into a momentary guillotine and slipping out and continuing the pressure to walk down Verdum. He was slowing some up, and then Verdum was winning the takedown and ending up on top of the back of Oleinik. But Oleinik was able to slip out. As far as there was a takedown to start round 3 as well. Verdum getting the back, isolating the arm, but then getting reversed from the bottom. Kimura reversed by Verdum, and then grabbing the arm, taking the full. Like I said, it was pretty much just a wrestling match with some striking mixed in there from Alexei Oleinik and Fabricio Verdum, in which Alexei Oleinik was pretty much just pressing the gas pedal throughout the fight, and he won that fight. Like I said, split decision. It was definitely close. You could argue both ways, but even still. As far as Chris Daukaus goes, like I said, 2-0 in the UFC with a 10-3 MMA record, 9 knockouts, no subs. He's coming off of KO winner for Rodrigo Ferreira, in which he goes in there, he basically crumples him with a step in, lead left, and then following up some beautiful shots, passing guard, and then even connecting to the chin and re-dropping him with a shot on the way up. I mean, it was a pretty good-looking fight from Chris Daukaus. As far as the Parker Porter fight, he was moving well, strong in the clinch, landing some good shots in the clinch, stepping in and out, landing some combos, ripping a good couple of leg kicks. He ended up dropping Porter with a step and elbow, and then finished up dropping him again, walking him down shortly after. I mean, Chris Daukaus, one of these guys, kind of a sleeper coming up so far in the UFC now. We always looked at him as, being this guy a little bit out of shape, blah, blah, blah. But he came into the Parker Porter fight looking super in shape, looking somewhat down in the 225 range, and then the Ferreira fight looking at like around the 245 range. Still looked good regardless, didn't look out of shape, but even still, I thought this was going to be one of those guys getting a kind of a resurgence, was going to be like, oh, fuck, I'll go down to light heavyweight. But, I mean, he probably sees something he has at heavyweight being that. But I mean, this fight's a super interesting fight. We have a guy in his 40s now in Oleinik being through the UFC for a ton of fights, most of them ending in submitting his opposition. But when the time goes, the speed and the chin sometimes unfortunately goes with that, especially when you fight the cream of the crop of the heavyweight division. I think it's a big question about if Daukaus has the movement, the power, the combinations to be a problem for Oleinik. And the answer is yes. The guy who's clearly has the body of a heavyweight, have tons of weight coming off in his last fight. Like I said, 225. I'm surprised he's making that move down to a light heavyweight division. But nonetheless, I think Daukaus has the ability to move and hit Oleinik with shots that would drop him. I think it's a matter of not being hit and not being able to get down and go into the feet. I think it's a big risk to take a guy like Daukaus in a fight with such a high-level grappler, but at the same time, and I think I'm going to have to go with a guy like Daukaus against Oleinik. I don't know. I just see something. I see the power. I see the speed. I see the movement.
I agree. I see Daukaus as a heavyweight. I really like him as a prospect in the heavyweight division. I think he's going to come up in the rankings over his next few fights. I think he's got that very sharp striking that I was talking about before the Volkov fight that I said was the reason he was going to beat Overeem, where they've got the sharp, fast hands that you don't quite often see at heavyweight, and I see that in Daukaus more than a lot of guys at heavyweight, and I think he's going to use those fast hands to knock Oleinik out. Although I don't like the matchup. I think Oleinik definitely is very live for a submission just because we haven't really seen Daukaus in too many situations like that before.
For sure. What do you guys think?
This is probably going to be a fight where I'm personally, especially at kind of get later in the card, maybe got land some more money on some bigger parlays. might have to just stay away from this one because, yeah, I think like maybe if it was closer to a pick'em, which I think it honestly should be. Um, I don't see too much value on Dawkins. I think there's always a chance like Olenek just finds a way. Like even if like the guy's like doesn't even want to take you to the ground, he's gonna put you in some uncomfortable position. Even if he get the trip on, tries to trip you out from the inside, and he ends up on the bottom, we know he can take you out from there. Like, man, yeah, not worth having any kind of significant money on Dawkins, in my opinion. Just sitting there being like, oh well, fuck, there you goes Olenek, another submission. You know what I mean? So,
I don't even know what the line is though. I don't look at the lines yet. I want to see what the line is. Like in my eyes, a guy that's 2-0 in the UFC against a guy who's fucking 50, like, you know what I mean, who's been through the UFC for 20 plus fights should be the guy who's been, you know what I mean, should be the favorite. But I mean, they're like, oh, Dawkins knocking people out. So I'd love to see this line real quick here. And oh, they just have it just straight up. Less versus the cover.
I can't bet against I can never bet against Olenek. It's just a thing. He's one of my favorite fighters, man. I really enjoy watching him.
At that line, it's hard to take Dawkins, and it's pretty hard to go against Olenek there.
What the fuck is that?
yeah, it's nuts.
Like I'm not being funny. Like, yeah, Chris Dawkins he's good. Don't get me wrong, and he's light on his feet. He weighs like 225, and he's quick, and he can bang. Like he took out Nascimento quick. And I know Alexei Olenek's 43, but I mean this guy's made out of sort of something else. I mean, 70 pro fights, over 70 pro fights he's had. He's 43. I mean, he's been knocked out 8 fucking times.
Yeah.
Like he's been knocked out. He's been
The boa constrictor.
Like he's the boa constrictor. If he gets out of that first round with you, you know he's gonna be throwing those meat hooks at you. You know he's gonna be clinching. You know he's gonna be going for the submission all the time. We're not seeing Dawkins tested in the UFC. I just can't.
Even at that
line,
I
know.
yeah.
I think Dawkins is best. I think Dawkins can win a decision because I think he's, he's light enough to be moving and just outbox Olenek and just avoid the ground. But I think Dawkins is going to be alive in that first minute. Like he's going to be way quicker. And the thing is, it's not like absolute devastating power that's taking out Olenek in these knockout losses. It's like Walt Harris throwing a cross. It's like a lightning bolt to the chin. It's just like the quickest thing you've ever seen at a 260 pound, 270 plus pound heavyweight throw. Same with Derek Lewis, like a flying knee to a right cross again.
Yeah.
Like it's just like this footing quick punch that takes him out and
it is.
catches him cold because he's 43, he's not got the chin he used to have, but I just can't. I mean, he's so fun to watch. I mean, even in the corner, like where he's upside down and he's got his trainers like shaking his arms so he gets all the blood circulated in his arms. I mean, he's orientated about survive, clinch, and squeeze. I mean, he tried his God bless him. I mean, he tried his best against Derek Lewis, didn't he?
He did.
He really did. He got him down in the first round. He squeezed that head. He squeezed that head so hard. He was trying to squeeze it like a pimple. He was like, oh, it's just this shiny melon, just squeezing it for like 2 minutes, and he was just, he was goosed after the second round, and he just got taken out. Like you said, he just got destroyed in the second round, like pretty quickly into the second round.
So close.
That neck of Derek Lewis is invincible.
Yeah. Up that neck, that you're just not submitting that neck.
I think we'll move on here. We'll keep coasting through these. Like I said, we still got 3 more, including this one next. I will fucking fly through this one, people. Featherweight bout at 145 pounds. We got Derek Minor.
I mean, how is this above that?
It's probably not. That's the whole thing. It's probably not. It's probably
let's hope not. Let's hope not.
Yeah,
this should be on the prelims of the prelims. What is it?
Charles Rosa. We got a featherweight bout at 145 pounds between Derek Minor, 5'7" with a 71-inch reach, and Charles Rosa, 5'9" with a 69-inch reach. Derek Minor 1-1 in the UFC with a 25-11 MMA record. Charles Rosa 4-4 in the UFC with a 13-4 MMA record. Derek Minor 1 knockout, 22 submissions. Charles Rosa 3 knockouts, 8 submissions. Derek Minor's coming off a submission win over TJ Laramie. Shot him for the takedown against pretty much grabbed the neck, pulling for the guillotine, locking up about 15 seconds into the match. He got that submission win against TJ Laramie. The Grant Dawson fight, that was a submission loss for Derek Minor. He dropped him early, looking for the guillotine. Wasn't even close. Locked in the transition to the arm. Very crafty from the guard, though. I mean, Dawson was able to stay heavy with the top pressure, able to work some good ground and pound throughout that fight. The second round started, and he was able to get more pressure. Looking for the guillotine, and he ended up getting slammed to the back, to the mat. Sorry, his back was taken, and then he ended up getting submitted. As far as Charles Rosa goes, he's coming off of a split decision win over Kevin Aguilar. He was dropped with a jab, then stumbled with some first punches taken of the fight. I mean, some good leg and body kicks to the head. He was trying to find range from a distance. At the end of that 4-inch reach disadvantage, so he was definitely trying to close some distance in that fight. I mean, an open mat TD shot, he was looking not so good in that fight. I mean, he was getting landed on, looking to slow down in the output too. As far as there were some good leg kicks, some very good stuff throughout that fight, but I mean, landing some good shots well. Letting his opponent dip into some good shots, but also cut and bleeding, getting hit with heavier shots throughout that fight. I mean, a close fight against Kevin Aguilar for Charles Rosa, but I mean, he was able to get the split decision win, of course, against a guy like Bryce Mitchell. He was taken down early. It was a head and arm choke, almost sunk in, then rolling for a reverse triangle. Mitchell was looking for the twister at one point in that fight, but good D by Rosa, able to survive multiple times. Arguably in that fight, you could see you could score it almost 10-3, 10-8 rounds almost in that fight. He was pretty much active. I mean, Bryce Mitchell was active with subs throughout the fight, pretty much on top throughout the fight, looking amazing transitioning. Definitely a hard fight to call. I think it would even be a fight of the night contender if you could squeeze out some of this other stuff and pretty much just look at it for what it's going to be. I think it's either going to be one of these fights where we see 10 grappling, or we see both guys, say fuck all that, or we're going to stand on our hands and feet and bang throughout the fight. I mean, that we could definitely see that. You could definitely get the sub in this fight. I mean, there's, a guy with 20 plus subs in his career. It's bread and butter to him, so he's definitely going to look for that. I mean, Derek Minor's going to be eyeing that sub, going to be looking to get it to the ground. But I mean, it's going to be an exciting fight to see. I wouldn't call this, fight of the night contender now that I look back on it and after we've been doing this breakdown, after, read some of these. But it's going to be close. Like I said, there's a lot of these fights that could definitely turn into something with 15 fights and 15 fights that are definitely all arguably close and have their own, advantages and disadvantages. I think Rosa definitely has some grappling skills to be able to do work, keep himself out of vulnerable positions. I think I'm going to end up taking Charles Rosa in this fight.
I'd have to agree with you on that one. I like Rosa to get the sub in round 2 or 3. I think Minor, almost all his wins are in the first round. He seems to gas out and is a sub 500 fighter out of the first round. I think Rosa can definitely survive one, so I'll give it to Rosa.
What do you boys think? Anyone else?
No, Jay,
I agree. Derek Minor's ace. He's good for about 1.5 rounds. Derek Minor, he's not bad, but like you said, he's a 500 fighter. The best bet I made in a while was Derek Minor against TJ Laramie. TJ Laramie fought no one on the contenders. He fought some dudes to get on the contender series, and he was like a ridiculous favorite. Like Derek Minor was like a plus 300 underdog.
Yeah,
hammered it.
Yeah.
His only path of victory is getting TJ Laramie taking him down and he engaged in the grappling, and he did it. And I cashed on the underdog, but one sec.
Dan, you can pull the bet thing. I'll pull that up too if you don't mind. I'll just keep.
Yeah, can you bring up the line? I was just my fucking my betway's locking up.
No, he's got it right here.
Yeah, Charles Rosa. I mean, his grappling. I mean, he got dominated on the ground against what's he called? Cook to the bone. Bryce Mitchell. I mean, the one of the most widest scorecards I've ever seen him, and he just destroyed him. Basically, just took away his black belt, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Charles Rosa. I think he's good enough. He's more battle tested. I think he can keep it on the feet, avoid the only path of victory for Minor. I think the chance of Minor winning the fight lesser after they get. I mean, does he really get like late stoppages, man. I don't think he even stops people late, does he? It's only like a
I think
daily
like
finisher.
20 something. Yeah, it's 21 of his 25 wins are in the first round.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He's the only path of victory. Like Charles Rosa wins this fight as long as it gets out of the second round and he keeps on the feet. That's all I've got. I've not really got much for them.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
trying to
good.
like skim
That's
over
good
what
look
I've
at that.
got.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you guys.
I'll probably
lean
fly through the
towards Rosa.
Chukagan fight. Yeah, not bad. I mean, we'll talk about some of these definitely before the thing. I think I'll probably be looking at what's the Charles Rosa by decision? 4.5. Okay, so then what the fuck? That's kind of crazy to me. They think
Yeah, I
Rosa's
like that.
gonna get a finish or something. I mean, I think both these guys.
Well,
I
he
think
could.
could.
If Minner gets tired.
Yeah.
What's Minna like on losing decisions? Does he usually get finished? Is he like I've not really followed Minus career at all, to be honest with you.
I'll tell you right now, or someone else will.
Rear naked choke, loss. Grant Dawson, triangle choke, loss. Herbert Burns.
No, go down to his here. I got it right here. So
Kevin
in his
Croom,
losses,
lost
2
elbows.
knockouts, 8 submissions, 1 decision loss for Derek Minor.
Could definitely get subbed then.
Oh, so he's been completely just fit. Yeah, that's why. That's why the money's on decision.
Most likely he'll get subbed by Rosa.
Yeah.
Or
Okay.
that's
He'll
probably
just
where
he'll
the
gas
odds will be
looking
for
for it
him.
in the first, and there you go. Okay. That's good. I think we'll fucking fly through this. We'll get on to the Chukagan fight real quick.
That's a really weird fight to have above that heavyweight fight. I just think that's just like I think that should be before that. It just does nothing for me.
Even Arlovsky Aspinall would have been a decent co-main for this.
For sure. For sure.
Arlovsky's the name. I mean, I don't get why this is.
Oh.
It's got to be like an ESPN thing where they're putting the weak co-mains. But I mean, what can you do?
I mean, we'll keep it on going. I'm bantamweight, about 135 pounds. Ketlin Vieira, 5'8" with a 68.8-inch reach for taking on Yana Kunitskaya, 5'6" with a 68.5-inch reach. Ketlin Vieira, 5-1 in the UFC with 11-1 MMA record, 2 knockouts, 4 subs. Yana Kunitskaya, 3-2 in the UFC with a 13-5 MMA record, 7 knockouts, 1 sub. She's come off a UD win to Sajara Eubanks, in which she was Vieira was looking for the clinch pretty quickly. Long striking boom for Vieira throughout the fight, looking for the clinch takedown. Close striking throughout that fight, and especially with the girl, like I said this last night, and the girl with like Sajara Eubanks, if you're getting closely outstruck by her, it's definitely a bad sign. Takedown to start the second for Vieira, posturing her against the fence, letting some good work. They were separated by Herzog at that point. I mean, obviously it was not enough for him. Vieira was landing some good counter shots as Eubanks was pushing forward, but Eubanks, like I said, outlanding her through 2 rounds already. Ketlin Vieira was able to pop the jab out there with a little bit of better head movement. I think, she definitely have a lot more success, but she was taken down partially with about 20 seconds left in the round, and she ended up, winning that fight with the UD win. I mean, it was definitely a pretty close fight, like not too impressive. As far as the Arena Aldana fight, like I was saying last night, that was a 10 versus 2 fight. That's when Ketlin Vieira was ranked number 2 in the division. That was a KO loss she took to Irina Aldana. In previous 4 fights, she had taken all of her opponents down. She was cutting off the ring well a little bit in that fight, but Aldana was pretty much circling very well, landing punches, angling very well, walking her into shots. Vieira ended up landing some heavy counters, walking her down, throwing some hard shots, but I mean, they weren't doing too much because Irina Aldana was moving very well with these punches. She was able to move well, slip a punch, and then landed a left hook. Vieira ended up sleeping Aldana ended up sleeping Vieira ended up evading that punch, landing that left hook on her, and I mean, it was beautiful. Something nice to see. I mean, Yana Kunitskaya, on the other hand, she's coming off a UD win over Julia Stolarenko. Good clinch control throughout the fight, some good shots and then some good knee, some good short knees in the clinch, looking to be strong in that position. Beautiful dirty boxing, mixing the strikes up in the clinch, controlling wrist beautifully, getting constant pressure even when in and separated, or the fight hits the mat. I mean, like, some of her striking numbers were like, I think 52-12 and then 65-2. Like, she was just outworking. Continued pressure throughout the third, looking well throughout the clinch. Some positions where subs were possible for like Stolarenko, but good defense from Kunitskaya. I mean, as far as the next fight goes, that was a KO loss to Aspen Ladd. That's why it's kind of interesting. Both these women coming off of, 2 fights ago just being knocked out. She was taking clinch again, heavy form from that position, good knees. She grabbed the fence once or twice and they ended up separating her, it was pretty blatant. I mean, back in the clinch, she was landing well, mixture of strikes. Then a takedown landed for Ladd, but I mean, back was taken, lots of punches landed for Ladd. The position ended up getting reversed towards the end of by Kunitskaya, but I mean,
wasn't too much. I mean, good takedown defense to start the second, staying busy in the clinch like the usual, controlling very well. I mean, there was a TD for Lab before the end of the second round. Not much work before she was, pretty tied up on the ground. She was dropped with a short left to start the third and then finished. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, there's definitely some people that, oh, why is this the co-main? I know that's definitely some questions that I had too, but it makes sense. There could be some fireworks in this fight. Both women haven't fought since September of last year. I'm not expecting too much in terms of rust. I think that we'll be surprised to see the cardio levels of each fighter and see how they hold up throughout the fight, especially with a clinch / wrestling heavy game, preferred by both. Vieira obviously wanting to work the ground, Kunitskaya wanting to work the clinch and imposing some pace on you throughout the fight. I don't think if Vieira doesn't come in and look a little bit better throughout this fight, look a little bit more solid, look like she's made improvements with the Nova and Yao camp, I don't think she's going to win this fight against Kunitskaya, but I think it's definitely going to be a hard fight to pick. I think Ketlin Vieira definitely being the favorite. I mean, hard. I think I want to go with. I think that Kunitskaya is going to have more work and impose more pace throughout the fight. I think that Kunitskaya is taking this one, but it's going to be close. I don't know what you guys thinking.
I'm going with Vieira in this one. I agree with you that it's going to be close. And when I look at the line, I see Vieira as a huge favorite, and there's no value here.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to bet on Kunitskaya, so I'm going to pick Vieira, but I'm not putting my money anywhere near this fight. This is just going to be sit back, watch.
Got it.
Same boat as Dougie.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
I'm not, I think there's a chance Kunitskaya can win, but, I think there's more so a chance that Vieira tries to clinch her up, work her more so from the inside, and we just see her trying to get a close decision. Kind of could go either way though. If she's able to, Kunitskaya is able to get more punches at range. Yeah, definitely no chance in hell. I'm betting on Vieira though, as big of a favorite as she is.
Pass, and pass. I mean, this is a rubbish co-main in my opinion. Ketlin Vieira, she fights like an idiot. She comes forward, chin in the air like that, winging that Curitiba style, winging bombs and kicks.
Yeah.
I mean, she got off lightly fighting Irene Aldana. Irene Aldana's not a puncher at all, and she gets starched by it just because she was fighting like that. Like she was fighting completely unintelligent, winging bombs.
Yeah.
And she comes. Bear in mind, she loses every single third round that she's had in the UFC. I mean, she lost the third round to Ashley Evans Smith. She lost the third round to Kat Zingano. Both of these don't fight for the UFC anymore. I mean, she's not that good. I mean, she's probably going to beat Kunitskaya to a decision 29-28. She's probably going to lose the third round.
Mm-hmm.
Kunitskaya, I'm not seeing anything from her. She's not got any pop. She's not got. I think she has 2 knockouts in her entire career, and they're against not non-UFC competition. So she's not got any pop to keep her off. She's gonna get walked down. Probably edge out the third round. I'd say Ketlin Vieira decision, and I'd say now if I can see she's number 4 ranked in bantamweight. I can see them giving her what's she called, GDR, Jermaine Durandamy, and she's gonna knock her the fuck out. I mean, she's gonna get starched coming forward like that. I mean, she's lucky she's not fought a severe punch, a really hard punch. I mean, Aldana's not a puncher. She got knocked the fuck out just by coming forward like an idiot. She's just, it's just not a good fight. Pass.
Yeah, agreed. Well, we'll fly right over this. Get into the.
You could literally just flip this card completely around, completely reverse the order, and be it's not much different.
That's one of the highest things I've ever heard you say in my entire fucking life.
What do you mean? It's just
Did
it's
you guys
just
listen to what he said?
So you have Sergey Spivak.
I didn't catch that.
Is pretty much what I'm saying.
So you would have Sergey
thought that made
Spivak
sense.
and I forgot the name. Sergey
you're
Spivak. Oh, Jared
sleepy and high
Vanderas is
over
the
there.
main event.
I heard exactly what your ass said.
Could be. Sergey could be on the main card.
He goes, they could flip this card right around, and
Yeah.
I wouldn't see a difference or something like that.
Because I
And
wouldn't.
was-
I don't think that's that crazy of a high statement.
No, I know, but it's just funny. I found it.
I mean,
it's a
if you
funny
knock
statement.
off Blaydes and Lewis, maybe.
And you throw them up at the top, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
I don't know why they
Absolutely.
just didn't put Andrei Arlovski up there and Alexei Olenek. I mean, their names.
I think they
they've been
should just put every
doing
single
this.
heavyweight
Have
fight
it,
on the
have
main
it as, like,
card.
big heavyweight
Everything else
tilt.
prelims.
Dan, I agree. I fucking agree.
Sluggo card.
Yeah, title it some shit like that. Come on.
Heavyweight tilt. All heavyweight main card fights. That would be sick.
Yeah, exactly, right? That's how you hype something
Cool,
up in the in-between, right?
See,
You got all these
this is
title fights
what
coming up.
Dana, Sean,
Or you
You sound
Hunter.
fucking nuts.
Oh,
You
yeah,
sound
me.
nuts
get
right
me
now.
in there.
You sound like a crazy fucking
All
person.
right.
Okay, let me break this down. Let me roll through this, and then we're almost
I'd make
done. Then
them
with the banter.
Billions.
I got to take a leak. I got to through this shit. Heavyweight bet at
Scott
265
Coker.
pounds. We got Curtis Blaydes, 6'4" with an 80-inch reach, taking on Derek Lewis, 6'3" with a 79-inch reach. We got Curtis Blaydes, 9-2 in the UFC with a 14-2 MMA record. We got Derek Lewis, 15-5 in the UFC with a 24-7 MMA record. Curtis Blaydes, 10 knockouts, no subs. Derek Lewis, 19 knockouts, 1 submission. Curtis Blaydes is coming off a UD win over Alexander Volkov, in which, he looked pretty good throughout the fight. Able to set his record number of takedowns, putting a pace on Volkov throughout that fight. Looked like he was ended up slowing a little bit later on in the later stage of the fight, but still ended up, unanimously getting that decision over Alexander Volkov, who's no slouch himself. As far as the JDS fight, that was a TKO win for Curtis Blaydes, and I mean, he was able to, range him to start out the fight, respecting the power of JDS, shot a couple sloppy takedowns in that fight, didn't have much success, but then he was having good success with the kicks, landing some good punches towards the end, walking JDS down then eventually, and then he ended up countering with a flurry, looking for another takedown, unsuccessful. I mean, he was not having a good time getting the takedowns on JDS. JDS was definitely moving well, had a heavy movement game plan in that, in that whole fight, because he knew what was going to happen. He was then able to rock JDS with a punch and then following up with some knees, stopping him on the hands and feet, ended up dropping him to the ground. That was a good win for Curtis Blaydes. As far as Derek Lewis goes, he's coming off of the, like we stated earlier, the TKO win over Alexei Olenek, and where, we kind of already talked about it, Alexei Olenek and Derek Lewis. Derek Lewis rushed him with punches, dropping Olenek off the opening exchange, trying to land some ground and pound. He pretty much got reversed, almost choked out by Alexei Olenek, and then Alexei Olenek obviously gave everything he had. Opening of the second round, Lewis rushed him, caught him with the perfect flying knee to the gut, and then dropping him with the hook. And, it was a beautiful little win for Derek Lewis. I mean, as far as the Ilir Latifi fight, that was another knockout win for Derek Lewis. He was walking him down, looking to clinch, looking to land the jumping knee, like he's always seemed to just love this jumping knee. The clinch was broken up by Lewis, pressing again, even looking for some takedowns at one point in that fight, not able to get them. Latifi was able to get the takedown about 2 minutes into the second, looking for some ground and pound, able to secure a second takedown before the end of the round, and then he ended up keeping him there. The control and the grappling by Latifi also, he got another takedown to start the end and start the third round, but then was unfortunately, caught and knocked out. I mean, this kind of ends up happening against guys like Derek Lewis. We've seen the same thing happen in the Volkov when he was dominated for pretty much the entire fight, and in that last 10 seconds, able to pull the trigger. I think that throughout the career of Curtis Blaydes, we've seen him impose his heavily wrestling style and his heavy handed ground and pound. I think it makes problems for a lot of people in the heavyweight division. I think you better have an answer with a guy like Curtis Blaydes, or, he's very vicious. He'll be able to get you in a dominant position, throw strikes on you in the ground, even in the clinch. If he has that ability to pull the trigger and you're too worried about the takedown, that opens up another avenue for him there. I think that, the interesting thing about this matchup, obviously Blaydes' only loss is coming by Francis Ngannou, the guy who obviously possesses, the power that's can't even be described. But a guy like Derek Lewis, I think, who sits atop the heavyweight division, obviously having 19 KOs, so having that record in the UFC, I think that, any moment when he's behind, he's got that ability to win. He's got that ability to pull the trigger and change the script and flip the script. I think this is going to be one of those fights at the main event that's, going to remind us how vicious the heavyweights are for anyone that's, maybe a casual not watching the UFC as much, but you turn it on, you're going to see some shit in this fight. I think the wrestling of Blaydes being somewhat what he is improving on, I think it's going to be more utilized in different ways. I think this fight's going to largely come down to cardio positioning throughout the fight. If you're Derek, you're making sure you're not too heavy in one spot, and you gotta be able to gain that respect from a guy like Curtis Blaydes and be able to put some power on him. But I think I think it'll be a nice little headliner fight, and the people will be a little bit more impressed than I thought. But I do see Curtis Blaydes dominating this fight with wrestling and is just relentless presser and ground game throughout this fight against a guy like Derek Lewis. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I see the same thing. I see Curtis Blaydes is probably top 3 wrestler in the UFC. Derek Lewis isn't exactly renowned for his ground game, even though his defense isn't the worst. I think his only lane to victory is a one-punch TKO or him catching Lewis while he's on the feet, or Blaydes while he's on the feet. But Blaydes isn't a slouch on the feet either. Blaydes might even have an advantage when it comes to the overall striking, not just the one-shot power. So I'm going to go with Blaydes to get the takedown here and probably get some ground and pound, finish this one.
I think, yeah, you might not be wrong, but the fact that he might have had the technically the better striking, I don't think he'll fuck around. Like, obviously, he.
I don't think he wants to. I just don't think it's that bold to say that this is a pretty even striking matchup.
No, but yeah, I don't think he wants any. He has no.
There's no reason for him to stand
yeah,
there with him
no
when he's
desire
got
to
this
do it,
wrestling.
especially when he's been clipped by, like, obviously it's just been Ngannou, but like still, like, yeah, Lewis does have that kind of power.
But every round does start on the feet, so it does have to be accounted for, I think.
Yeah, exactly. And we also saw, so pretty much I've been on pretty much Blaydes pretty confidently since this fight's been announced, but now that we're sitting here beginning to talk about it, I'm kind of starting to think that there is always that chance, as you said, obviously every round starts on the feet, but also we saw that in the fourth round, in the fifth round against Volkov, that we started gas and not being able to hold down Volkov. And if you can't take fucking Lewis out of there before they get late and he gets tired, it may only take a sloppy shovel hook to really just take him out. So I don't know. Obviously, we'll get to the line in a little bit. I'll let LJ.
The line is madness,
but not touching Blaydes.
I haven't even looked at the line. I'm sure Dan's basically what you would call a line reader. That's all he reads is the lines. He looks at the lines to figure out what's up on the card. You know what I mean? Fucking with you, Dan. But yeah, I don't necessarily think that's a. Yeah, LJ, you go. But I don't necessarily think that's a.
Yeah, man.
It's partially viable. You go, LJ.
Like I said, I gave it the big one when I came in. Joined the
I forgot. I almost forgot.
You know, it's just such a hard fight for Derek Lewis, my boy, Derek Lewis. I mean, don't get me wrong. Win, lose or draw, I'm buzzing. I'm waiting to hear tops drop by Fat Pat as he walks out, as he lumbers out. You know, the Black Beast. He's a fucking legend, man. Let's face it. He's a beast.
Oh yeah.
But you know, I mean, Curtis Blaydes is elite. I mean, the only guy he's lost to is Francis Ngannou.
Yeah.
Doctor stoppage, bear in mind the first time, and a TKO in the opening minute of the first round, where he wasn't he out cold snoring. I mean, he was buzzed. He got straight back up. He wasn't like we've seen.
He was protesting it. It was probably a good stop. He was protesting.
It would have ended ugly. I would say that it would have ended ugly.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, it was a good stoppage, but I'm just saying, he's not being put out snoring. Let's just put it that at least. I mean, the Volkov fight destroys Volkov. Let's face it. I was watching that fight. Lands great shots on Volkov. I mean, landing huge. I mean, I know it's the Volkov being conscious of the takedown, but landing great shots on Volkov. I mean, besides that fifth round, absolute whitewash for Curtis Blaydes. The Derek Lewis. Like besides Alexei Olenek, decision to Ilir Latifi, who's got a notoriously bad chin at 205. He's getting chinned at 205, and then he fights. Supposedly, he's this godly puncher, Derek Lewis. Like, don't get me wrong, I believe in the power, but it's not there all the time. Like, he's going to a decision with Ilir Latifi. He's competitive. Sure. Blagoy Ivanov takes his shots like tic tacs. Blagoy Ivanov is just walking through Derek Lewis's punches in the third round, and then besides that, like besides a late knockout punch to Ty Bora, and the biggest come from behind win against Volkov. I mean, Volkov was winning every second of that fight, and what do? Alexander Volkov, you're M1 champion. You're a great kickboxer. You throw the stupid inside kick, that bloody stupid inside kick, again and again and again, until Derek Lewis, okay, he's going to throw the inside kick, bang, and he just cleans his clock with the right hand. I mean, one of the best come from behind KOs of all time. Awesome.
Yeah.
I
got the poster of that card right behind me.
Oh yeah.
But besides
Oh,
that, he's not
yeah.
put. Besides a come from behind victory against Alexander Volkov, which was, in my opinion, Volkov don't throw that stupid inside kick and stays on his bike for the last 10 seconds of that fight. He wins the fight unanimous decision 30-27. Okay. And then Derek Lewis never gets the title shot. And then besides that, he's got a third round knockout win to Marcin Tybura, who's notoriously chinny. I mean, the power's not been there. And the takedown defense, I mean, it's not takedown defense. It's I'll get up whenever I fucking want defense. He just postures up, and he's so athletic and so strong that I think he'll be able to pull it off a few times early against Curtis Blaydes. I mean, the submission offense against Curtis Blaydes is, he's not there to choke you out. He's really not. I'm pretty sure he has one submission win.
Yeah, he does.
He
might even have none. He might even have none. Let me.
I think he has. Might have
he's
one
got none.
in his
He's
career.
got none. He's got none.
He has none. Okay, well he has completely none.
Wow.
Yeah, in the amateurs, he got one submission in the fucking amateurs, and that's it.
Amateurs.
That's it. Okay, so he's not gonna, So I think unless Curtis Blaydes has just got this ungodly smothering pressure where he's just on top of Derek Lewis, and Derek Lewis is feeling it. Oh my god, he's gassed. His bad back's playing up. He's doing this. Oh my god, his takedown defense looking awful. And then, but I just don't think the submission threat is going to be there really, like against Curtis Blaydes. He can get up whenever the fuck he wants if the strength is actually there and he matches up to Curtis Blaydes. I can see him getting up like that. I know it sounds stupid, but
No, you're right.
he's just that big. He's just that freaky. And he's just that athletic.
Yeah.
But I see Curtis Blaydes surprising people on the feet. I think it's going to be a Kamaru Usman job by Curtis Blaydes. I think he stuns him on the feet, even. I mean, it's like Doug said, it's not a fair comparison to say that Derek Lewis is a superior striker. I mean, technical, no way. Technical, I mean, he's pure brute strength and power. And it's just, he goes to those, he's athletic, so he goes to those high kicks, he goes to those flying knees, the big overhands. And he fights at a pace where he can recharge, and then go for it again. Recharge, go for it again. He's not going to be able to do that against Curtis Blaydes. Curtis Blaydes is going to be breaking the rhythm. He's going to be, Lewis is going to be conscious about the takedown, so he's going to be less defensive on the feet. I just think Curtis Blaydes wins this fight going backwards, forwards, whatever he does. Every day of the week he wins this fight. I just think Curtis Blaydes decision, maybe late TKO on the ground. It's just a hard fight by Derek Lewis. I mean, I will be putting, like I said, a little bit.
No, especially LJM.
But it's just such a hard fight for him. It's just, I just don't see how he wins it unless it's like a come from behind KO, or Curtis Blaydes fights like an absolute idiot and just stays standing with him and just like, he was landing huge shots on Volkov.
Yeah,
he doesn't have the best pop, but he's landing big shots on Volkov.
Yeah,
throughout the fight.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I think he's going to shock a lot of people in the striking, and the wrestling, I think it's going to be there after those 2 rounds once he breaks the brick wall of Derek Lewis.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's going to be interesting, man. It's like who breaks first cardio-wise, and then, like, of course, we have to put money on Derek Lewis. Of course, it being at 420 right now is even a better sign for us to put money on him, you know what I mean? Couple of bucks, but I think most of us are with Curtis Blaydes. I mean, yeah, if Dan's scrolling down here, what do we see? Curtis Blaydes by decision, 4.0. 5 rounds, eh? Like, fuck. Like, how many times has Derek Lewis been 5 rounds? The one time with...
One time.
With Ngannou, okay.
No, that was 3 rounds.
Oh, it was only 3.
He has gone 5 rounds. Never. Fourth round, lost to Mark Hunt, got knocked out by Mark Hunt in the 4th round. So.
Wow. Okay. So maybe some rounds.
So
Dan, if you don't mind showing me the rounds. Show me the rounds.
Hard fight for Derek Lewis.
Not out yet.
Not out yet? Fuck.
I mean, have you looked at the topology totals? It's 80% Curtis Blaydes.
Is it actually? Yeah.
They're giving Derek Lewis.
I need everybody to send their vibes to Golden State right now. I need my parlay to hit.
So, does anybody else in hindsight get mad? You sound like somebody I know.
You sound like somebody. I was about to say the exact same thing, Dan. I was gonna say you sound like fucking Sherm, who just beat our asses in the UFC pool last week. Doesn't know a lick close to either one of us, like as far as total knowledge, but I mean, it just whooped the fuck out of us for no money.
'Cause he's
but
listening,
Yeah, but he missed the NBA. I know he's on here. I know he's on the Twitch. He's my man. He's the man holding it down on the Twitch. He's the Twitch moderator, man. Fuck, he's the VIP on the Twitch when it hits to 100. He knows it. That's why he wants the VIP badge. He's boom slapped with the VIP badge. That's what he wants, man. It's gonna be awesome. But yeah, people, go follow the Twitch if you're still here. I mean, fuck. Definitely want to kind of get over this quickly so we can wrap this up, cut it, and then we'll have the whole banter
I think Blaydes'
section.
decision isn't bad.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean,
You
like,
You
like
think
I
Derek
said,
Lewis survives 5 though?
That's what I mean.
It's pretty tough.
I don't.
Like, if he's not gonna go for the submission, like.
I will say,
I don't
Derek
know.
Lewis, he's tough. Don't get me wrong, but he's so bad at. He's got the worst poker face I've ever seen in UFC. I mean, against JDS, he's getting hurt to the body. He's literally keeling over and wincing. He's like, oh,
Yeah,
oh.
he did.
Like,
Yeah,
he
he was,
hits, he fakes JDS and hits him with the counter, but then he gets hit to the body again, and he's like really hurt, and then he just
you're right.
winces. He just folds like a lawn chair. Like, he doesn't have the best poker face.
Mhm.
I mean, if Blaydes can hit him with kicks to the body, he can hit him with punches to the body. I mean, it's just such a hard fight for Derek Lewis. I can't
so many different
reiterate it
arsenals.
anymore. It's just like,
Yeah.
it's just an evil matchup for Derek Lewis. I mean, you don't want to see him go down like that. I mean, he's fighting a monster. Let's face it.
And it's been one that's been set in stone for a while, right?
Yeah.
This was, remember, people, this was supposed to be on, and fuck, I could be wrong. Now I think I'm gonna be wrong, so I'm gonna check it so I'm not stupid.
Yeah.
Wasn't it November 27th?
Hey, let's hope
Blaydes
that
got COVID.
What card though? What card was it supposed to be on? I like to say it by card.
It was its own card.
Oh.
yeah, it was his own card, and then Brown Bear Clark ended up being the main event with Anthony Smith.
Yeah.
Yep,
Right.
I remember that. Yep, I remember that.
Let's hope that
Right before I
Derek
started the
Lewis. Let's hope that Derek Lewis is his normal self, like he did in the Alexei Olenek fight. He's spitting in people's trifecta meals. It's what he did in the against Olenek.
That was a joke, but that was funny, man. I like that. He's a like
that
that's the
type
thing.
of shit. When
Man,
he's like that and he's comfortable, he's gonna bring it.
Yeah.
Like he's
do.
always like you like to think like he's always like that before a fight.
I honestly though, and I'll end it before if anyone's got anything else to talk about, because we're gonna kind of get into banter here, talk about some shit, and I'm gonna talk about Derek Lewis and Curtis Blaydes and shit, but it's gonna be banter. It's not about the betting lines. So if everyone is substantial with what they're saying as far as the bets right now, we're obviously gonna definitely hit on this. We're gonna start 15 minutes early, like we always do. We're not ending the stream now. People, do not worry. I'm playing the outro so it can get clipped and clip the banter off, and I can timestamp all of our different opinions as far as when that goes later. So get ready. There will be timestamps in this video like there was on the last one. It's currently broken with the embedding, people. Like, you used to be able to embed timestamps into the actual red line of the video, and it would show you the titles and say, oh, if you scrolled over it, you'd be able to say, oh, midway through or at the end of the video, it'll pop up if you're just scrolling at the bottom. Oh, Curtis Blaydes, Derek Lewis. It's not working right now, so I mean, we're just timestamping it, so everyone be ready to look into the description as far as where those timestamps are. But I'm gonna play the outro, and then we're gonna get to the banter. I appreciate everybody coming. I appreciate all you guys coming. If there's any last words you guys have to say before we hit the banter, feel free. But I appreciate you guys as always. We're building a little bit of a community out here. Like, we already got our first hater today, our first fucking troll today. Huge. It's
I want to
huge.
say, if Derek Lewis wins this fight on Saturday, title shot. I don't want to hear it. He's getting a title shot. I don't want to hear it. He's paid his dues.
Okay, cut this off. I was about
That
to
will be that. If he beats,
cut this
if
off.
he beats
Cut it
Blaydes,
off. Cut this
he's
off.
the only guy to beat
No.
him besides Ngannou. I think he deserves a title shot.
No,
We'll talk about it in a minute. We're talking about it in a minute. I'm playing the outro.
Yeah,
People,
no.
stay with
Never
us.
again.
I'd like to thank you guys for joining us on this glorious day.
And a friend.
You aren't duping the doctor. I mean, the doctors look into your eyes.
Jeez, and the fight is over! Michael Chandler! Michael Chandler! What did I tell you, fools?
What's up, boys and girls? This is UFC lightweight Michael Chandler. I'm just telling you right now, if you don't go to YouTube and hop on the MMA Bet Surgeon channel, like and subscribe and ingest and digest some of the best UFC, mixed martial arts, and boxing predictions on the planet, on the internet, then you're doing it wrong. Appreciate you guys. See you at the top.
Here we are, people. We're back into the bullshit banter section. I think we're all probably gonna rip a bowl. I'm definitely gonna rip a dab right now.
Well, first off, before fucking LJ,
Yeah, no,
Fucking
continue,
Kelly
continue.
Oubre.
no, before he gets into this bullshit,
Oh wait,
I get visibly,
There he is,
I
look at
get
him.
so upset whenever I think about the fact that Derek Lewis got that title shot against DC and not even ever came into existence. Like sometimes I like to like trying to just like mentally just, like scrub it out from my mind, like erasing like one of those tattoos you regret. Just, like what the fuck was that? Was it like because
Hey,
DC
Dan,
such a
Dan,
company guy? They
you
were
guys
like,
go. You guys
oh,
go
let's
for
him
a
just
dab.
give him this gimme so he can be, oh, defended both belts. Meh, meh, meh. Like, I
Well,
was
he
like, no.
said it was because his back was hurt and he didn't want to fight Stipe when he wasn't 100%. He thought he was going to be fighting Brock Lesnar.
It's fucking
And he was like,
horseshit.
oh, I don't want to fight Stipe when
That's
I'm
all
not
fucking
100%.
horseshit.
I mean, yeah, he shouldn't have fought Derek Lewis. Like, it's
Hey,
horseshit.
Dan,
But
Dan, how many minutes do you think DC trained for that Derek Lewis fight? I rate he trained about 45 minutes for that Derek Lewis fight.
Me and Dan watched that fight together, and I literally remember
He
me and
probably
Dan
fucking
standing there before the
more,
fight.
He probably spent more time fucking eating pie at that camp than he spent. Fucking
Oh man,
10
like
minutes.
just definitely a fight that Derek like just written all over for Daniel Cormier to come in and
Came
put
into
in
the
a game
octagon,
plan.
lad. Came into
was-
the octagon chuckling.
what's
He was
the
like, I'm fine, Derek Lewis, he can't wrestle.
What's the high school he coaches at? It's like,
Well, he's getting. I'm sure you saw the Ariel. I listened to the Ariel Helwani after, post podcast because like I listen to all these podcasts sometimes pre-podcast, and like I said, I'm gonna start. What's next week? Because next
that
week
final
is
over.
next
What
week the big title
What's your
fight.
point? What are you saying?
no.
What was your intro?
I kind of got off on it. I kind of got
Well,
off my
we
whole
have a
point.
little appetizer week, I think.
Daniel Cormier is
Of,
getting.
Cyril Gane and Rosenstrike before the 259 card.
Fuck, I was gonna
little,
say which one of you guys wants to come on
little
Combat Canada
heavyweight
next week.
appetizer.
I was gonna say if one of you guys wants next week, but I mean I was gonna save you guys for more of the bigger cards. Like definitely one of you guys on, maybe even two on for the 3 title fight card for sure. Combat Canada, I'm talking about, and then
yes.
and then keep cycling.
Cash that Nigerian parlay with Israel Adesanya and Kamaru Usman. The final.
What?
Nigerian parlay.
You got a Niger?
Yo,
What?
Pat, it's like you have fucking like.
What was I out for that?
Pat,
Was I?
he said it multiple times. So you're out of it.
Man, you ever
too,
heard
too
about?
many dabs. Too
Nah,
many
you ever
dabs.
heard about? It's called career of
he
getting
said holes
hit
in
in
his
the
brain.
dome. It's a career of getting hit in the dome.
I've been hit by cars. I've been hit by everything. I've been hit by all sorts.
I played that crazy American. I played that.
I would just clip that.
I will clip
I've
that.
been
I will
caught.
clip that. I will clip that.
I got hit by a car when I was 19 and I was legit got hit
How
by a car.
fast was it going?
Shit. Might have been a Prius.
That's the first question. How fast was it going?
Wow, that's a pretty important question. It's like if it was going fucking
How big
like
was the
10
car?
miles an hour.
Was it a Prius?
Yeah,
It,
well,
I don't
that's
know,
my
it's a
second
four
question.
door, and it was quick and it was reversed. Yeah. But yeah, that was ages ago anyway. So
I'm not even laughing at you. I'm laughing.
Did you get
with
cl-
you.
did you get like
Both got fair
grazed
share.
or did you get?
Look at Dan's
all got
asking.
fair share of CTE. That's all I'm gonna say.
I'm in the brain belt with you, brother. I told you I played some
Did
American.
you get clipped or was it
football.
like over the hood?
No, I got back up. I was just fucking like just did something to my knee, like injured my knee. But it was,
Whoa, that's even worse. Fuck, I couldn't
Golden
imagine.
State's playing like fucking dog shit. The
Gotta
last
rip
leg
this
of my
down.
Why are you
parlay
betting
here. I'm
Golden
trying to
State?
make
Don't be
100
saying
tonight,
that kind of shit
boys.
on stream, Douglas.
Golden State.
We're trying to look like we're
This
not.
is
fucking-
banter. Come on, you do whatever you want.
No, but talking
Except-
about
except for being a hater.
The view is plummeted to a massive.
I'm trying to hit a parlay
No,
here.
it's
This
at
is
4.
about betting.
What are
We
you
love
talking about?
betting.
It's at 1.
I'm joking.
I know,
I'm
but Golden State-
Oh, 'cause of the Golden State thing.
Golden State Warriors.
I was gonna say fuck. I was gonna
Oh.
say
Everyone dips as soon as he mentioned
people
it.
like the banter. I think more
Right,
than the
where's
normal shit.
where's the people in the panel? Where are the people in the panel?
What was?
get 'em
Oh,
in.
Oh yeah. Oh here, let me post it.
I've got bouncing. I've got bouncing about 20 minutes. I've got to be up
Yeah,
in
no
the
problem.
morning. Well,
Yeah,
it's
no
the
problem.
morning, but I've got to be up
No
later.
problem.
Yeah, no,
on.
absolutely, Doug. Yeah, so do I. I gotta be out of here soon. I got work tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll end it. We'll end it soon. If no one wants to end up jumping on, then feel free. Then that's that, and we will do what we normally do and kind of
So,
just.
what do you guys think? Actually, let's do. What about who do we think that Leon should fight?
Colby Covington needs to fight someone, doesn't he?
I feel like but like UFC, I think we would have already heard that confirmed already. If Colby was in, like UFC already expressed that they wanted it. Leon has said that he
That's the
wants
fight
it.
to make, though, isn't it? Let's face it.
But yeah,
I don't think
for
Colby
some
does
reason
it,
I
though.
don't think we're gonna get that though.
No,
It's going to be Colby.
I'm done with that 170 division.
I hope
Colby's
so.
either title shot or Masvidal pay-per-view headline.
what,
That's all he wants.
I think Colby thinks that he's the next.
Yeah,
like a win over Tyron Woodley means anything nowadays.
Colby is the biggest threat, in my opinion. Because we didn't see him test his
I can't
wrestling.
believe the Masvidal fight's even fucking happening.
I think he might be too weak in the wrestling, but we don't know because never seen it. The fight never even hit Matt.
Well, now because we're in this
I tell you
position
what division
where
I'm absolutely done with as well. 55. I'm done with that.
Done with it?
lockdown division.
What do you mean?
You know what fight I can guarantee they're going to make a 170 though? It's going to end up being Burns versus Thompson because those are the only two fucking guys who are going to fight anybody. So I know they're going to get matched up.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know.
They're
when
the
that
only
was-
two who are going to fight anybody.
It'll happen at some point. I don't know if necessarily it'll happen.
I think it's next, just because everyone else is going to turn down everybody else.
Yeah, I think.
I'm hoping Burns doesn't turn around too quick.
Yeah, I hope he's getting up there as well. He's 34, man.
Because he does have a chance. He
I'm
still has a
muted.
chance.
Talking like an idiot.
We saw glimpses, and we saw moments. Obviously, he dropped them.
Oh yeah, I rewatched that Usman fight.
He just got way too.
That was a phenomenal fight.
He got into a frenzy state,
phenomenal.
and he just got like.
It was phenomenal. It was
a
Hagler
bit too-
Hearns-esque. It was really Hagler Hearns-esque in MMA. I mean, Kamaru being Hagler, the guy with the iron chin, just the guy is just the bigger guy walking forward, just Terminator chin, just takes it, and then like Burns is like Hearns with the right hand, flogs him, hurts him early in the right hand, and then Usman takes over late and then stops him in the third round. Like Hagler Hearns went 3 rounds as well.
Great fight.
Different
Great fight. I mean, great fight. Great fight. I mean, like fuck.
That goes. Was it 3 rounds?
Hagler Hearns?
Oh, I thought you were talking about Burns.
Yeah.
I thought he was comparing it to Hagler Hearns. Maybe I'm just high. I just smoked a
No,
I
but
just
I
smoked a dab.
Yeah. They
Okay,
both
that's what he's doing. That's what you're doing.
But
Okay,
I'm just
yeah.
saying, like, boxing's
Yeah.
got it's 2 minute rounds, 5 minute rounds, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's still, it's similar. Like the
Yeah.
similarity there.
Yeah.
And I really do think Usman's like an MMA Hagler. He's just, he stays at that weight. I don't see him moving up like Hagler did.
Yeah.
Staying at 160, like staying at 170, like Usman is gonna do.
Yeah.
Rock chin, absolute. Just he's got that melon missile, and it's just you're not gonna knock him out. I mean, that clubbing right hand that Burns threw everything into it, right behind the ear, rocked Usman down to his. I mean, he caught himself actually on the way down, which probably got his bearings back a little bit, and then.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Watching it back, Herb Dean. I mean, you heard me going off on the commentary, and I won't start. But Herb Dean, he needs to go, doesn't he? I mean, he's just sitting there. He's just sitting there like, I'll let him up after a minute. Oh yeah, he's just buzzed Usman, and he's gonna recover after like just standing up for a minute. Okay, yeah. Basically, just gave him a minute standing count. After Burns rocked him. I mean, he's just sat there. I mean, he's like his eyes aren't on the job. He's like he's got that Russian girlfriend, hasn't he? He's like a model or whatever. He's probably just thinking how he's going to bang her in the hotel after the fight. It's like he's not on the job. He panics and he makes these little mistakes, and I'm like, oh my God, he's just a calamity, isn't he, Herb Dean?
We need to mix it up on the refs a little bit. I need to see my
Yeah,
boy.
please.
Yeah, Lucas
Please,
Bukowski back.
Mark Smith. Did you watch that? Did you watch Mark Smith on what's it called? Joe Rogan. He was on
Really?
Joe Rogan. He's
Yeah.
mint.
He's on Rogan.
He's
When?
mint referee. He's
2
fantastic.
weeks ago.
Yeah,
He's
I don't
a
listen to
fighter
Rogan
pilot.
anymore.
He's got like
Can't.
3 degrees. He's got like 3 degrees, and he's like a fighter pilot. The guy's a fucking nutter, mate. And then they don't get him in like world title fights. They always get him on the prison fights.
I'm
Or they
okay
get
to
hurt
see.
like MTD, and who just makes like brain farts and gets guys like damn well near killed in there.
I'm okay to see Swaggy Sean Brown in a couple of fights. We haven't seen that guy in a minute, but I mean, he's a little bit older, so maybe COVID's holding him out of these. But
What happened to the dude who got caught with weed?
who was the guy that got caught with weed?
What was his name?
Oh fuck! I didn't even.
Josh something.
I gotta go over this. I gotta go over the people that are cut. I gotta go over the people that are cut.
His name.
I almost forgot, LJ. I almost forgot the people
Remember,
that
he
are cut.
busted his weed and he never came back. I don't think he
LJ,
refs
the
anymore.
9 cuts. We gotta go over the 9 cuts.
Oh yes.
Let me read them out for you.
Okay. We can all
Alexandra Elbu, 3-2 in MMA, 2-2 in the UFC.
Who the fuck is that? Who the fuck is that?
Yeah, I'm not.
Who the fuck is that guy?
really
Ali-
got some of the people there, don't we?
Alia Casey, 8-5 in MMA, 0-2 in the UFC.
Yeah, he was the guy with no eyebrows.
Oh, that guy, yeah. Shit,
Terrible.
eh?
Absolutely
Holy fuck.
Terrible. Aaron Rivera.
Cyril
Rivera's
Askar.
The guy with no eyebrows, yeah.
You didn't hear that, but no.
Cyril Askar, 9-4 in MMA, 2-3 in the UFC. Alex Chambers, 5-5 in MMA, 1-4 in the UFC. Chris De La Roca, he's out, 5-3 in MMA, 1-3 in the UFC. Suri Kondo, 6-3 in MMA, 1-3 in the UFC. Bojan Miraholovic, 10-6 in MMA, 0-3 in the UFC. Suman Makhtaran, 8-2 in the MMA, 8-2 in MMA, 0-2 in the UFC, and then Dmitry Solvanovsky, 11-0 in MMA, 1-0 in the UFC. And I sent it to Dan. You know who Dmitry Solvanovsky is?
Who?
Okay, I sent the article to Dan. He got convicted last year, and it's not bad. The title of the article: UFC heavyweight arrested in Moscow on abduction and extortion charges.
Okay. Jesus Christ. This is
Because he's the only guy that had a positive record that got cut.
Clenbuterol and having like 6 months off a drug suspension.
It's definitely way worse. Definitely way worse. Definitely getting arrested along with 4 other people.
It's like what that idiot Abu Azaitar did on Fight Island.
Yeah, but that's our own theory. We could make a whole fucking episode on that, talking about an hour about what we think about Azaitar and then his brother getting caught. Look at the lines, people. You're not drawing the lines.
What they actually do, this guy.
But it's crazy, eh? Like, so no, yeah. Basically, this guy was a extortion and abduction. I mean, that's pretty much 1-0 in the UFC. I offer you this. 1-0. So because he was the only he was the only guy on that list that hadn't lost.
Check when you go in the UFC, just like, oh yeah, you fight, you got a good record, yeah, go on, have a go. Do not do a background check. Like, this guy is a human trafficker or whatever the fuck. You know?
You want to hear a better one?
Background check, please.
Did you read into this one, LJ?
I mean, they'll be stealing like the ring girls and shit. Like, oh, fucking, the ring girl's gone missing. Some Russians taking him to fucking motherland or whatever the fuck. Oh my god.
LJ, did you read into this one? Brian Caraway, Misha Tate's ex-girlfriend, ex-boyfriend was.
Oh yeah, the bantamweight.
And he stole the ATV. You heard about that one?
What's he done now? Who's
He stole. He apparently ended up, forged the title of a 215 Polaris RZR, reported the vehicle stolen from his home. Caraway bought the insurance policy just before filing the claim. He valued the vehicle at $18,500, said a bunch of this other shit. It just basically ends up sounding like, he basically ended up. He basically repossessed a car, saying he ended up getting fucking stolen. I mean, charged with first-degree theft, forgery, making a false statement on a vehicle, obviously saying the vehicle had been stolen from him, just trying to get the money, and then there you go. Crazy, eh? I mean, it's not really. So the title's kind of bullshit because I just kind of clicked on it and read it for the first time. The title is Brian Caraway facing multiple charges regarding ATV stolen from ex-girlfriend Misha Tate. The article makes it sound like he owned the motherfucker and that he illegally tried to claim it as something being stolen. You know what? Yeah, exactly, right? Buying insurance right before the claim. Like this is they're putting Misha Tate's name in the title to get more clicks, which I appreciate because it sounds like there was an ongoing robbery or a disagreement during their relationship, but it's not. I don't think it is that way. I think that's bullshit.
Steph Curry is my Lord and Savior. The parlay is hitting tonight, boys. We're eating good, boys. Let's go.
Shrimp and lobster. But yeah, people
Shrimp,
like
lobster, caviar, whatever the fuck I want. Let's go.
I love that. It sounds like you won a lot of money.
That was a big parlay.
Sounds like the NBA bets are the way I'm gonna start hitting you up on a personal. That I'll start asking you for some NBA picks because
I'm big into the NBA bets. I was on fire. I hit a $3,000 parlay last year.
I've heard some of your betting stories. I know your history. I know you're definitely more than I know you've done well, and that's to say it lightly. I know that's to say it lightly. But I mean, people, anything else we want to talk about here before we wrap this one up? I mean, I don't want to keep you guys, especially LJ. I know you got to work. Get up for some stuff. Anything else you guys want to talk about? Anything else before the card? Anything? We'll just throw it out there. We'll throw it up. Obviously, we're gonna see.
Y'all see the Derek Lewis interview where he said he was going to take down Curtis Blaydes, wrestling 5 rounds. He wanted no part of the hands. He was joking. He said it deadpan the whole time, though.
I would love to see that. Like, he'd just be the type of guy to actually go for a takedown on Curtis Blaydes.
Man, I don't see
At least he's got some sense.
Yeah, I don't see him winning this fight. I honestly, and I looked through both guys' Instagrams, obviously trying to find some good photos. Couldn't find much. Obviously, Derek Lewis posts way too much shit. It didn't end up even loading the rest of his Instagram. That's how much shit there was on it. But, man, I went through Curtis Blaydes' whole thing. He's just, I like people that are just like, and I know they're not, like, I know that's a lot of these people in the UFC. They're very down to earth and stuff like that. But, like, this guy's down to earth. Is like, you're going back in his thing, and it's pictures of him in college with girls and shit, and he loves.
I love how he's brutally honest.
Yeah, and he's got
he says in all the interviews, I'm not what he says in the interview. I'm not gonna stand in front of this guy like an idiot and try and bang with him. I'm gonna take him down for 5 rounds. I'm not gonna try and get knocked out. I'm gonna give him the only path to victory.
Exactly.
He says that in all the facts. People get mad like, oh, he's going to crotch this. But no, he's going to fucking dominate the guy for 5 rounds. Like he did against Volkov. He said before the fight, this ain't going to be no stand-up war. I'm going to come in there and going to take him down for 5 rounds and dominate him.
Yeah.
He just says what he does. He don't really care about just get the win. I'd rather see complete domination than him being a little bit out of his element, trying to strike with Lewis. He's got deadly power. And, he'll hold his own, but why give that risk for too long? Just to entertain the fans for what?
I hear exactly what you're saying. I mean, fuck, like, I like Curtis Blaydes, and I've always kind of liked him, and I even picked him. I remember picking him going into the fucking Ngannou fight, like a nut bar. But I mean, even still, I'm a guy who likes Curtis Blaydes. Always have liked him. I mean, just like him even more going through his Instagram, just kind of seeing, he's photos with the Bud Light, just sitting there, and he's fucking just chilling and shit.
I still think you give him the title shot. I really like. I don't. It's a weird situation, isn't it? Because he's lost to Ngannou twice, but
John Jones just jamming himself right in there when there's a deserving number 1 contender is weird.
That's what he does. It's John Jones, man. It's fucking. I think John Jones. Like I said, I think John Jones, and I think Curtis Blaydes has had his fucking eyes set on John Jones for a minute, and that's kind of what I like. I think
Ngannou gives Jones hell.
Oh my!
For about a minute and a half.
For
about a minute and a half.
Yeah.
For about a minute and a half.
Yeah, you're right.
Gives him absolute hell. Like could absolutely flash KO him at any point in a minute and a half. I'll give him a minute and a half.
I could see
Ngannou. Like Ngannou's such a ferocious puncher, but I just don't give him long against these guys. Like eventually, once you establish the distance and you feel the power, if you can take it, I mean, he's not KO'd everyone. He's TKO'd some dudes.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I hear that.
But I just think he's too much of a banger, man. He's hit way too hard.
Yeah. Fuck though, man. Like, what a good. We got 15 this weekend. Starting early, people. What time do you say it was starting at, guys? 5:30.
4:30.
4 fucking 30.
Yes, sir.
And that's how many early prelims? They got 2 early prelims, and then they got like 7 or 8 prelim fights or whatever.
Yeah, it's quite the card here.
15 prelims.
What are they showing this one on? What are they showing this?
It's on TSN. It's for Canadians.
Like the whole fight, the whole card, or just prelims?
Yeah. Whole card.
Fuck. Okay, easy then. We're good. Beautiful.
Should be, anyways. I'm pretty sure that's how they. Pretty sure they announced
right.
it
I
there.
think it's fight night and shit like that.
They usually do fight nights on TSN.
Hopefully, make some money.
Oh shit! Oh shit! Numbers coming out right now. This is exactly what I wanted. 38 minutes or 2 hours ago. Preliminary card averaging viewers for 258. I want to see numbers.
Oh, did you hear? They said they did 500k buys.
What? Really?
I was like, what?
I got it. I hit the bet. I hit the bet, motherfuckers. I hit the bet. Our little bullshit. And I said 400 plus. And one of you guys said, you're a nut bar for saying 400 plus. I said 400 plus.
I think that was all of us.
No, some of you fuckers had 250.
No, I'm saying
less. Yeah.
No, I'm saying we all said you were crazy.
Oh yeah.
For saying that much.
Oh,
I'm not saying we had. I had like
yeah.
150. I lowballed the shit out of it. I was wrong as fuck.
500,000 people bought that.
I honestly, fair enough. They say it did 500k buys, but I think they rounded it up at some point.
Oh yeah, it could be bullshit.
Like,
it could be
the UFC will say anything if ESPN makes them say it. Dana will come out and go, we had the highest viewership with Macy Barber and Alexa Grasso. It was trending on Twitter. Macy Barber and Alexa Grasso. No one was. Everyone was outside smoking cigarettes and drinking beer when that fight was on. You know what I mean?
People are saying
there's been like 5 cards though that he's gone to publicly and said, "Oh, this is trending bigger than McGregor Khabib," and nothing's touched it.
Oh mate, he's just all about he's just Johnny numbers, isn't he? Yeah. All the time, like, oh, he's gonna be the biggest pay-per-view of all time, and this is that, and Poirier, he's trending on Twitter. I'm like, just give it a rest. Like, they're all inflated numbers anyway.
It's true. I mean, they're saying it did 794,000 viewers just on ESPN for the prelims. For the prelims.
Yeah, for prelims, fair enough. Okay. Yeah, because people go on ESPN, they go on Fight Night, they got Fight Night, and then they look at the price of the pay-per-view and they go, what? Usman, Alexa Grasso, go main? No, and they don't buy it because they see the absolute steep price. Lucky me, I get some.
And it's only 11 fights or whatever, right? 10 or 11 fights.
Oh yeah, and they all got cancelled, didn't they? I mean, it was just
maybe Usman is kind of a draw.
I mean, how is 259 the same price as UFC 258? You get 3 title fights on UFC 259. You get Dominic Cruz in the prelims. How is it the same price? It just don't make any sense. It's literally the same price. 3 world title fights and a light heavyweight super fight as the main event, and it's the same price as Alexa Grasso and Macy Barber as the co-main event. I mean, oh my god! I mean, what company is this?
I mean, I think they still, like Dan just said, need to make a bundle where they can let a bunch of us buy a year pass.
Oh yes, great idea. Bundle.
Yeah, fucking let us buy a pass. Let's buy a pass.
Why couldn't we get like Why couldn't you just get? Because I don't pay it over at UK. It's BT Sports, but over in the US, like why couldn't you get $258 for like 25? Pay 60 for or whatever the full price is for 259. Because if you buy it as a bundle, why on earth would you buy 258 that's the same price as 259? People are just going to skip that one out and watch the highlights. Casual.
I'm honestly so surprised by those numbers. It's crazy. I guess a lot of people had nothing to do.
It was a good fight though. The main event was people who bought it, they definitely got the money was worth in the main event. But
when's the last pay-per-view that didn't do at least 500,000 though? That's good.
That's why I think they're capping it off
the
at
most
the
important question.
ESPN
Yeah,
are
so
capping
Dan,
it off,
write
saying,
that up. Yeah, go look that up.
or
man.
at least
You look it up.
500k, and they go, oh yeah, we did 500k and this and that, but they really just eked out maybe just under, you know.
Need some tennis bets.
Because the ESPN have literally admitted that they've actively bought like numbers and that for like different arenas and stuff that show the fight. Like they buy it out and show it, and whatever they do with it.
Well, okay,
Don't
150,
hate Pats from the Mad
257
Bankroll.
did 257 apparently did 1.6 or yeah, 1.6.
Yeah.
Well, what did fucking 256 do? I mean, it's just I always keep getting lists of the top UFC buys, but I want just an updated list of
I think
current.
sometimes they just don't even release the numbers.
There's one on Tapology right now that I'm looking at.
Oh,
that's
like
got
current? Like goes all the way down.
Yeah.
Oh, then
Yeah.
say that then. Say a couple of those off the bat. Like, what are the last couple?
It doesn't have. It has them in order of highest
Yeah,
buy rate, not
highest.
date.
That's what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one.
Oh,
I've-
okay.
I've seen that one too. Yeah. I'm trying to find one that fucking has. I mean, I don't think we'll be able to find it now. I don't want to keep anyone for too long.
Honestly, I'm not hugely surprised that it did.
Miocic Cormier 3 did 500k. You're telling me this was the same as that?
Yeah, that's the way it gets like, gets a bit.
And that had O'Malley in the co-main. O'Malley was at his peak of hype. Like there were a good amount of people that would have bought for that co-main.
That was one of my favorite cards because I've never seen it before and it'll never happen again because now we're in the new era of COVID. But we had Dan. That was the same card, Dan, 100%. Dan shitrocked. We were all at a bar. Dan shitrocked in the bathroom. Shitrocked before the main
No,
event.
that wasn't that card.
That was fucking. Yeah, it was. What card was that then?
That wasn't for 3. That was a different card.
Nah, I think
that was
that
Jones.
was 3.
I think that was the Jones.
What, Jones Santos?
Yeah.
Yeah,
When we got the posters.
You might have been right. You might have been right.
DC Cormier 3 was in August. That was well post-COVID.
Pre.
No, pre. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it was all
Pre-
pre-COVID. Yeah, it was all pre-COVID. Yeah, we were in a bar and shit.
all
Like, yeah.
pre-COVID.
all
No,
pre-COVID.
that was the Santos one.
Oh,
That was
okay,
the
never mind.
Santos
Then I'll
one.
save that.
We got
I'll
the
save
posters.
That. I'll save that for another time. Then.
No, that was a good one. That was a
Save that
classic.
for another time. But yeah, great.
I was fine by the fucking
You were
main
fine
card.
by the main event. It was awesome. And
Main
you
card.
ended
I'd
up-
say main card. I was
You
fine
ended
with
up
the main
winning.
card.
You ended up winning a good chunk of change too. We all did that night.
Yeah. I feel like sometimes the cards that get the most fucked up, I win the most.
But DC, with
I don't
DC
even know.
John
Maybe
Jones,
it's the other way around. I don't know.
The Wild Man comes out.
DC John Jones 3. That was the one we were at QBs. We all stood up. We were
there
screaming
for
and
both.
shit.
We were there for both.
Wait,
I know, but we
DC and John Jones only fought twice.
No. You're talking about Stipe. DC Stipe.
We were there
DC
for that
DC
too.
Stipe 3 in August.
DC Stipe 3, yeah.
I'm trying to think about where we were. I think we were at Thing. We had to be at Thing, and we were fucking shit rocked, and we were going nuts.
You were probably more shit rocked than me.
Nah, not that shit rocked. But I mean, yeah, good. Anything else anyone else wants to say, and we're gonna fucking end this bitch, wrap this up, because we're gonna be doing 7
Give
plus
Leon
hours.
a fight. Give Leon Edwards a fight.
I'm good. Got the bets, and I think we've.
Yeah,
I think it's a good looking card bet wise.
Yeah. Hopefully,
Yeah.
let's all
Parlay
make some
hit,
money.
so I'm in a
Let's
good
all make
mood.
some money.
Yeah,
Let's all make
definitely
some
plenty
money.
of fights to piece together. Some nice parlays.
Yeah, for sure. Especially
Sure.
15.
We'll be in it for the long haul with you on Saturday.
Yeah.
They're drinking, betting, showing out live bets, playing the bet
Yeah.
battle.
Yeah, I'm gonna get lock all my shit
I'm
in
gonna win
before
this
that.
week.
I'm gonna
I already
block all
threw
my
some
shit
shit in
before
there.
that. I just want to.
Is it in the same
3+
same
bills.
Google Doc?
I just made a new. Yep, I just made a new
Okay,
Awesome.
sheet.
I'll check that out tonight then.
UFC 224 Nunez versus Pennington 85,000 buys.
Ah! Dana looking at that in the morning.
Almost stroking out, turning red like a tomato.
Somebody fucking got thrown off a building in Vegas. That's some window.
That's the way it goes, people.
we appreciate you having everybody here. We appreciate everyone, obviously, on the panel. We're always, the trusted association now. People, we're gonna come up with a name, but I mean that's for future. Appreciate having everybody here. Like I said, Saturday, tune back in, early card, 4:30 start. So we'll be starting probably around 4:15. We'll start the live stream probably around. I'll start it probably even a little bit earlier, probably around 4:10 because I play the intro and shit. But start around sometime like then, play that intro, and you'll be seeing us live on Saturday for this fucking UFC Fight Night 185. It's gonna be a banger, a bunch of bangers, 15 fights. Like, appreciate everybody coming out. Let's enjoy ourselves.